97.5, the Fanatic NCAA Tournament Day starts in earnest today. We're going to keep you abreast of all the games. We got TV here. In case you're on the road, in case you're in your office, can't watch the games, we'll give you the updates. They start at like noon today. It's always a fun time when the NCAA Tournament games start because this is where you get an upset and, you come down the stretch and some team, like some 12 seeds ahead of a 5, and you go, oh, could it be? Well, yeah, you're going to find a few of those. I think there are going to be fewer upsets this year than in the past. So we'll talk about that as well. I got to start with the Phillies. I don't know why I have this ugly feeling about the Phillies. It's not really ugly. It's ugly in a sense that I doubt that they're going to have a year as good as last year in the regular season. Now, that doesn't mean they can't do anything in the playoffs, but I'm seeing these little signs that I don't like. And the one sign, and I've had this for a while, when I first saw him throwing 89 miles an hour, that's Ranger Suarez. Now, he's throwing 89 miles an hour out of the chute because he doesn't feel 100%. When you don't feel 100%, you're not going to bust it because you think you're going to injure something. So he started out throwing 89. Now there were no alarms with that. Anybody in this office except me. No alarms down in Clearwater except me. And so yesterday we find out that it's the back situation again. And I can assure you that once you have a back situation, it never goes away. So if he's got a back situation, and I love the way they frame it, well, it's not as bad as the one that kept him sidelined during the season. Really? How do you know that? How do you know? It's a back. You can never predict a back situation. When you don't have a back, you can't push. And when you can't push, you get hit because you throw 91 miles an hour. So my question is, if this situation plays out where we're going to have to milk him through an entire year, can the Phillies actually win their division, win a number 1 seed, even be a viable team in the playoffs with only 3 pitchers starting the year and going through, until July when the savior comes up from the minor leagues? So we'll discuss that for today, and this is why these little things make me feel a little queasy. Because the guy who's in the rotation now is Taiwan Walker, who got blasted yesterday in spring training. So what are we talking about? The reliable guys you're talking about are Wheeler, Nola, Christopher Sanchez. Then you got and. So I hope that everybody's feeling good about the Phillies. I want to feel good about the Phillies. It's not like I'm trying to put the Maloik on them or anything. I'm a big baseball guy. I like their lineup from top to bottom. I like their lineup more than a lot of people. I don't think it's that important that you have these metrics that you have to have left, right, guy puts the ball on the ground, guy puts the ball in play. I think if you got a good team, you got a good hitting team, you got a good hitting team. However, a pitching staff with a bullpen that hasn't figured out what the bottom half of the bullpen is yet worries me a little bit. Now, Bill Colarulo's here, Ray Dunn is here. I know you're not worried by that. You drink the Kool-Aid when it comes to the Phillies. So I want to hear your opinion now with the Ranger Suarez and Taiwan Walker situation that they have currently going.
Yeah, it's not a great morning, man. It's not a great morning. Yesterday afternoon, I saw the news break that Ranger Suarez was dealing with this back issue, and then this now means Taiwan Walker may be in line for another start. And I thought we were done with this guy. I really thought after what we saw last season, where he gave up 7.1 earned runs in only 83 innings, He had an opponent batting average of .317 last year, an OPS of .975. And I know they had to keep him last year because of the money and all that crap. But now you're telling me that we're going to have to deal with Taiwan Walker every 5th day again. And I get it. Like, there's not many teams in baseball, if any, who have a 6th starter that could step up when one of your top 5 goes down that is a good pitcher. I understand that. But really, the Taiwan Walker experiment continues. I know he's owed $36 million, and that's the only reason why he's here. But I'm just so over them continuing to put this guy out there. And I understood really, like in spring training, you're trying to sell it to the other 30 teams or the other 29 teams in Major League Baseball that he's going to have a rebound year to see if you could maybe unload him for a team that's needy of starting pitching. But we're really going to have to see this guy. Like, we may see him in the opening week at Citizens Bank Park for a season where we're hoping to start things off on the right foot. We're going to have to see Taiwan Walker. So, no, I'm not happy today. I know that people are excited about Andrew Painter, but we're not, June, July, if we're lucky, Andrew Painter's coming up. I'm just frustrated that we're going to see this Taiwan Walker again. And I can't feel good today. And I was hoping with us being less than a week away from opening day, right? Less than a week, or is it next Friday? What is it? Anyway, it's about a week. I was hoping that we could start to feel good. And no, I don't feel good. And I am worried now about Rangers.
What? You flipped? It's hard. 89 miles an hour. First time out, not a big deal.
Because you're right.
Look at his velocity second time. It was fine.
It did. It went up. But you're right. If Ranger Suarez is having a back issue, you're spot on. There's no guarantee that he'll get back to 100%. It may be something that bothers him all year. And I guess when June or July comes around and you could bring Andrew Painter up, you got to hope now that your other guys, because we're hoping Luzardo's healthy. And then you have to hope that Wheeler, Nola, and Sanchez, that they don't have any issues. If starting pitching is the reason that I felt confident about this team, which is what I was saying, is I don't love that they didn't upgrade the outfield. Maybe they did. But for me, I looked at it as, wow, that Luzardo signing, that's a big one because now you got 5 quality starters. Well, now we're down to 4. I don't know. I'm not feeling that great today, but it's a long season.
Let me just say this. I know you like to blame Rob Thompson a lot, but let's look critically at the general manager for a second. Now, it's hard for me to complain about the track record of Dave Dombrowski, and it's difficult for me to complain about a team that's a perennial contender, which the Phillies have been for the last several years. However, he had a mandate to improve them from last year and fill in the blanks of the players he lost, just like Howie Roseman does right now. He did not get a right-handed hitting outfielder, which was essential to get, and he did not fill in the bottom 4 of the bullpen, which are all iffy at this point. So they're not a bad team. They're going to be a playoff contender, obviously, and they might even win the division. I'm talking about right now, I don't know that Dave Dombrowski did his job. To be honest with you, you can't take a team that's a contender and not want to improve them from your failures from the year before. And I don't think he has. He came back with the same team, which is a good lineup, but left field is still a problem. You still don't have any right-handed power of a guy that can play the outfield. And your bullpen, you are crossing your fingers for 4 spots. I mean, a general manager who wants to make a team a contending team has to do a little better than that. Am I speaking out of turn here?
Look, I was critical of Dombrowski a little bit last year, and I had a lot of listeners come at me and people on Instagram come at me saying, you're crazy, Dombrowski's great. I don't think that you're being crazy saying that he didn't do what we thought he would do this offseason. Now, I know his hands are tied a little bit with some of these big contracts. We know they shopped Alec Boehm. There were no takers. So I guess they did what they could do. And you're still, with Walker owed $36 million, you had to bring him back, I guess. I would have liked to have seen them just eat that.
Let me just say this. All right, I understand they spent a lot of money on their payroll. A contending team does not try to salvage a guy who's a bust. As you paid him that kind of money, it was a flat-out mistake. Now you've got to eat it. You can't try to make it work because your fan base is laughing. And they're going, this is so obvious what they're trying to do here. So at that point you go, hey, you know what? We gave it a shot. It didn't work. DFA.
Well, we all thought he was going to get DFA'd multiple times last year, and it never happened. So I'm with you. But now we're going to have to see him again, and you're probably going to see him opening week at Citizens Bank Park, which is just crazy. But I guess if let's do a little positive with the Phillies. They finally moved on from the chief vibes officer. So he got optioned to Lehigh Valley today to play for the Iron Pigs.
It's a sad day, man.
Garrett Stubbs.
When the overalls leave the clubhouse. Sad day.
But I like that they valued skill and upside more than just vibes. Because Rafael Marchand, I think, gives you a better plate presence for sure than what you got from Garrett Stubbs. Now I know Stubbs, he participated in the game plans.
Locker room guy though,
but
locker room guy.
Well, he had an option left, so that's why they did it. But I'm excited. At least they made that move because I would have thought Bryce Harper would have got in their ear and said, "No, I want my DJ
You
here."
think Bryce Harper thinks much of Garrett Stubbs?
I think he loves the guy.
You do? I don't think so. But Bryce Harper doesn't like that players that can't play. 610-632-0975 is how you come in. We're going to talk about the NCAA tournament today with Aaron Bracy. Read a hell of a book on St. Joe's and that magical run where they actually should have played for the national championship, but did not. And he'll give us some tidbits and who he likes in today's NCAA tournament games. And we'll have a gambling expert coming up in the show today to give us some selections. Even though the only gambling expert you need right now is me.
You're on a heater.
I have won 11 of my last 12 bets, online bets. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Tyrone Johnson. We can't.
16. Like Missanelli said, Bill, I've been doing this for a really long time. When you do it for a really long time, you get little vibes. In a lot of ways, it's like, have you ever been to an older lady with a gingham skirt who reads cards for you? She reads the tea leaves.
What kind of skirt?
A medium. A gingham. You know what a gingham skirt is? Look it up. It's just an old style skirt.
Well, no, then the answer is no, I've never been.
It kind of drapes you. You never been to a medium?
Talking about like a fortune teller?
Yeah. You ever been?
I never have.
Really?
That freaks me out a little bit.
I've been to several.
Really?
Yeah. I had a curiosity.
Were they ever right?
Yeah. Interestingly enough, they hit on a few things. They hit on things in your family tree that,
Past or future?
Past.
So you never went to them and said,
oh, no.
You don't want to know, like, hey, you're going to die in 2 years.
You never ask them whether you're going to die. I asked them about a job that I was deciding on taking once. They can't give you that kind of answer, but they go back and, well, my point is not that. My point is that I fashion myself sometimes, being in this business for a long time, as some kind of a sports medium.
Okay.
So I get feelings from time to time, just like they get feelings, right? And when I get a feeling, I declare it, if it's good or if it's bad. And I've gotten plenty of good feelings over the years.
I'm a little nervous about where this is going.
Well, I'm just saying,
I know where your bad feeling is.
People have asked me about, hey, what do you think of the Eagles next year? And what do you think of the Phillies this year? And my feeling takes over. And I go, I don't know. Now, normally, if I was really confident about it, I would go, it's no problem. They're both of them are championship contenders. However, this time I got the feeling about not that they're going to be bad, but that they're not going to be championship contenders.
Talking about the Phillies.
I'm talking about both teams.
I think it's premature.
I'm talking about the Eagles next year, which and again, I have no base. It's just a feeling because what do we know what the Eagles are going to be? But I get this feeling. You know what? It's not going to fall short of last year. And the Phillies, I feel the same way. And I don't want to feel that way. It's a curse to be a sports medium, Bill.
It is a curse. But I think your feelings about the Eagles are premature because there's still a long offseason. And I think that there's probably going to be a big move that will change your feelings.
Well, listen, I know that. The sports medium knows that there's going to be a change. It doesn't really matter what's to come.
But with
it's what the feeling is. It's the metaphysical.
But with the Phillies, you kind of know what you're going to get. We know what this roster is. There's no savior coming in here in the next couple of weeks. I mean, maybe they make a small move. I doubt it. But there's no savior coming in here. So your feelings with the Phillies, I will give a little bit more credibility to. Because we know what they are.
You can't deny the feelings of somebody if it's a sports medium. You're not in the metaphysical. You're in the logical. The metaphysical is different. The metaphysical, just sucks a vibe out from the universe.
Well,
and it doesn't matter what you do to try to rectify.
But people in the YouTube chat are questioning your medium credibility because they're asking, did you predict the Eagles were a Super Bowl contender last season?
Well, yeah, they were a contender. Well, no. At the start, they weren't.
So that's what they're saying. Is it
okay?
Maybe right, your feelings, we take the opposite.
But my point is the last year, the year before doesn't count. I'm talking about now. The here and the now is what I get the feeling. I didn't really have a feeling last year. I was just processing it. As you remember, I said I didn't think Sirianni should come back, but I got my eyes wide open to see what happens. Yeah. I didn't have a sports medium feel last year for the Eagles.
So bringing it back to the Fightins. What is it about the Phillies that is making you feel this way? Is it just the pitching?
It's funny. You can't define it specifically. To me, it's just a feeling that something is lacking. I don't know what it is. I had that same feeling at the Sixers at the start of the year, as you know. Something was missing. Something was lacking. The vibe wasn't right. I don't feel the Phillies vibe. And again, I'm not trying to tell people, hey, the Phillies going to have a lousy season. I'm just telling you what my feeling is right now. And so far, there's been a couple dominoes that have fallen. One being Suarez, and the other being Taiwan Walker, and the other being a bullpen, and the other being no right-handed power hitter. I group all four of those together, and they are defining my sports medium feel about the Phillies.
Now, there's a chance that Strom is ready for opening day. So if you have Matt Strom in that bullpen, but we'll talk about the starters in a second. But if you have Strom in the bullpen, you're still not feeling good? I mean, with Romano, Kirkring, Alvarado, Strom.
Can't live on just 4 or 5 dudes.
I get it, but I don't think the other guys are scrubs.
Going to go bad. What?
I don't think the other guys are scrubs.
6, 7, 8 are not scrubs? What are you seeing in 6, 7, 8?
Ruiz, Tanner Banks.
Stop with Ruiz and Tanner Banks.
Maybe even this Chris Mott.
Stop, Chris Mott. You don't even believe that.
Well, Chris Mott has pitched.
You're trying to play devil's advocate with me right now.
Chris Mott's pitched in 114 games in his career. Like, the guy has experience. I'm not saying that these are lights-out relievers.
Archie Bradley had experience. You remember him? Hey, bro, Archie Bradley had all these kind of experience he had as a major league relief pitcher.
But again, we are laser focused on the Phillies because we are a Philly sports talk show. But if you look around Major League Baseball, how many bullpens have 5 or 6 absolute lights-out relievers?
You know what? Winning bullpens have it. Winning bullpens have that. That's my point. Winning bullpens have exactly what you just said.
I think the Phillies bullpen's better than you're giving it credit for.
Okay.
I'm with you on the starting pitching. I'm nervous now.
Okay. All righty. See, if you don't have starting pitching, the bullpen becomes very important because those guys got to fill out a lot of innings. And if you don't have 6, 7, 8, good luck.
The medium, Mike.
Buena suerte.
We need a name for your medium, though. You got to think about it.
I'm sure that YouTube chat will come up with something.
Yeah, come up with Mike's medium name.
610-632-0975. We'll get to our text board and we get to our callers after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers crushed by the Thunder. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. 76ers lost 133-100 to the Thunder last night, dropped them to 23-46 on the season, keep them tied for the 5th worst record in the NBA. Next 6 games for the 76ers are against 6 teams with a combined 141 and 264 record, starting with Friday's game against the San Antonio Spurs. Down in Clearwater, the Phillies have pushed back Ranger Suarez's Friday start due to back tightness. If Suarez is to miss time, Taiwan Walker right now appears to be in line to be the 5th starter to start the season. Also, Garrett Stubbs was optioned to AAA earlier this morning. Rafael Marchand will serve as the team's backup catcher. Tonight, the Flyers are in D.C. to play the Capitals. We'll have the live broadcast of the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic, with pregame coverage beginning at 6:30 on the station. Finally, in NFL news, the Packers officially put in for a rule change to ban the tush push. We'll keep you updated with anything that happens coming out of the NFL Rules Committee. This update is also brought to you by Worldwide Stereo. Worldwide Stereo's new trade-in program makes it easy to upgrade to the home audio system. Find out what your old gear is worth at worldwidestereo.com/upgrade or visit the Worldwide Stereo showroom in Montgomeryville. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
touting Nabil Chrismat for me? Are you being serious about this? Huh? I want you to look at. I want you to look at his numbers.
I know they're
his,
not
his
great.
ERA does not look bad, right? Lifetime, however, but I want you to look at his innings and hits per inning.
All right, here we go. Nabil Chrismat.
So they go way back to when he was San Diego Padres first year. 87 hits in 81 innings. Next year, 67 innings pitched, 57 hits. All right, that's not bad. And next year, he gets shifted around. So Padres, 13 innings, 19 hits, 11 innings, 17 hits. He gives up too many hits.
Yeah, then he was with
He's not going to be a factor.
only
Sorry,
7 innings pitched last year for the Dodgers.
Yeah. So yesterday, the Yankees hit 3 home runs. So after Ben Rice hits his home run, there's boos in Clearwater. In Clearwater, where people are supposed to be happy. There's boos for Taiwan Walker. He proceeds to give up 3 straight singles after the home run that Ben Rice hit, the third one of the day, and he gets yanked by Rob Thompson. And here's what he says. Missed a few spots, didn't win any of the 1-1 counts. Really?
Dude,
really?
Anybody with 2 eyes, maybe even people who only have 1, could see last year that he's done. The guy's done. I mean, I almost feel bad for him in a certain way. The fact that he's making so much money makes me not feel bad for him, but the guy is done. He can't pitch anymore.
It was a lemon that you chose off the car lot, all right? And Dombrowski has to take the heat for this. Dombrowski has to take the heat for signing Taiwan Walker. He also has to take the heat.
Scrub.
Right.
He can't play.
He can't play.
Here's what bothers me. And Corey Seidman, who covers the Phillies for NBC Sports Philadelphia, he does a good job. But I'm reading an article that he writes this morning or last night. And the first line, the fragility of starting pitchers was a primary reason why the Phillies didn't cut ties with Taiwan Walker after his terrible 2024. And although Walker did not pitch well on Wednesday in Clearwater, his role might have already increased. That is not the primary reason he's still on this roster. The reason he's on this roster is because he's owed $36 million. It had nothing to do with the fragility of starting pitching. And that's the frustrating thing, because if this is truly a franchise that cares about winning, you can't sell us that you want your bleeping trophy back and roll out Taiwan Walker every 5th day again. The guy should have been DFA'd last year. And now you look at the spring numbers, Mike, like you just gave against the Yankees. I'm looking here. He's only struck out 6 batters in 13 innings. He's been taken deep in every single start. He gave up an earned run against the Blue Jays in 2 innings, an earned run against the Blue Jays in 3, 2 earned runs in 4 innings against the Yankees, and now 6 earned runs in 3 2/3. The guy's done.
When they signed him, Dombrowski has effectively hung himself out to dry. But it's not only that. And I keep going down. You're the general manager. You needed to do certain things in the offseason. Well, what did he do?
Well, he signed Luzardo.
Okay.
So you're hoping you didn't need Walker.
You got Luzardo. That's fine and dandy. He also did not get a right-handed hitting outfielder, and he has not completed his bullpen. He's going to sell you Nabil Chrismat? Come on, man! Listen, they're not a bad. Like I'm talking like they're a scrub. They're not a scrub team. They're still a good team. But we're talking about now this window where you can actually win something is now going on for 3 years. You can't then let's let it slide again. That's all I'm saying. This is a hope for they've got 2 lemons that play in this city. One team just won a Super Bowl. This team is supposed to lift the spirits of this fan base to overcome what the Sixers and the Flyers have done to this fan base. You got 2 out of 4, Bill.
No, we need the Phillies.
The one has to hit.
Yeah, we need the Phillies. We need them. And look, you got Painter coming in June or July. You hope that Ranger can come back and give you something.
You keep talking about this Painter.
Well, he's going to have to.
Like Tom Seaver is going to come up in the minor leagues. He's still a young pitcher.
I understand that, but let me ask you right now, even knowing that Painter's young, Who would you trust more every fifth day, Andrew Painter or Taiwan
Well,
Walker?
well, that's a silly question, but that doesn't mean that Painter's going to be lights out. We got to see what he is.
But you don't even necessarily need
First
him
of
to
all,
be
we got to
lights out.
see what he is in the minor leagues. Like you're rounding it up, going, well, he's going to be very successful in the minor leagues. Suppose he isn't.
Well, then you got an issue.
All right, let's go to the text board. Ray, what do we have on the text board? I'm sure that people are fired up at me.
You or the fact that they're going to be dealing with Walker again? We already got people calling for Tyler Phillips on the text board right now.
I mean, don't call for Tyler Phillips. I'm sure he's a nice kid. Come on.
We also got Ed in Pennsylvania saying that they shouldn't even bother with a fifth start in April because of all the off days.
Well, that's not really addressing the problem.
Not addressing the problem, but he's trying to find a solution.
Well, it's not addressing the problem, and it's not a solution because you're going to need a fifth starter. What else? Get somebody who's ripping me.
Anyone
I need the rip of me because the sports medium has no control over the metaphysical.
Marshall from Florida. Why does Mike always have to be an ass?
Mike doesn't always have to be an ass.
Why does Mike always have to be an ass?
Gives you the truth. How come you weren't saying, boy, Mike, you really read that Sixers situation correctly? How come nobody does that? Now I'm an ass.
Let me ask you something.
I gave you my heart and soul with the Sixers at the start of the year.
I want to ask you a serious question here. Last year, headed into the postseason, you were not worried about the Phillies.
No, I was not.
And you said that they were a very good team.
Yes.
What has changed for you?
I can't explain the metaphysical, Bill. I can't explain it. You think mediums can explain why they predict? It just comes to them. Remember that scene in the Sopranos, Paulie Walnuts, where the guy hit home with his relatives?
I don't remember
Paulie
that.
went nuts?
I don't remember that scene.
You don't remember it? Paulie went to a medium.
Oh, that's right.
I can't explain it.
A lot of nicknames for you
It's
coming
just that
in.
my eyelids twitch, and I get fingers that go like this.
Yeah. Mikey the Mystic is what a lot of people
we're
are
gonna
calling
get to
you.
Greg in Bethlehem. He's checking in a little bit. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico, and Silvana Kelleher.
when things are where you get a little friction when Bill accuses you of not liking him, and you just get hit that. Bill, I love you so I always will.
How about Ray got some fan mail today? How about that?
Ray got fan mail?
Yeah, that's a first.
Good for you, Ray. What'd they say?
It's some general knowledge suggestions for us.
Recommendations? Yeah. On how we could grow it on YouTube, which was nice.
Yeah, they want a score bug for me in the audience.
Oh, very nice. I like that.
Also asking if I was related to Livy Dunn. Just asking.
Livy Dunn, not Olivia Dunn. Livy Dunn, the gymnast?
Yes. Which, to put all
not
ends
Olivia
to...
Dunn, who's with John, what's his name? The comedian.
I don't know her. I know Livy Dunn.
You don't know Olivia? You know Olivia Munn, not Olivia Dunn.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's with Mulaney,
I'm
right?
sorry, yeah, John Mulaney.
Yeah.
Not
Different
Olivia
name.
Dunn.
No, I am
Olivia
not
Munn.
related to Livy Dunn.
All right.
So,
Same
sorry
spelling,
to-
isn't it?
what?
Same spelling?
Same spelling, yes. And she's trademarking everything with the last name Dunn. So that's
is.
really
She's
obnoxious.
taking your Dunn.
She is.
Yeah.
See, you would have a shot with her, though.
You're
Like,
done,
if
Ray.
Paul Skeens has a shot, I think anybody has a shot.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not pumping in 102.
Yeah, wait a minute. Why if Paul Skeens has a shot, what's that supposed to mean? What is
Well,
he, like a gargoyle?
Paul Skeens, Cy Young.
The guy's going to make $1 zillion
Yeah,
every
look.
game. Like what?
Paul Skeens, Cy Young.
He's not a good catch?
Ray Dunn,
Oh.
play-by-play announcer, producer of the Mike Missanelli Show. Like, I think equal, and I think you're a better-looking guy than he
The
is.
best Ray Dunn could ever do is to be broadcasting the games of a zillionaire pitcher like Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens is the millionaire pitcher.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
Ray, as the
But I bet you
broadcaster.
Joe Buck makes just as much as Paul Skeens,
right now,
right?
if Paul Skeens doesn't blow at his arm, he's going to make a lot more than Joe Buck ever did.
You think so? Joe Buck's career will be longer.
Skeens is going to make like $50-60 million a year.
For how many years? Joe Buck is going to do it
Like a
for
10-year
30, 40
contract.
years. I think Ray Dunn could catch him. I think Livy Dunn would be making a mistake if she stays with Paul Skeens over Ray Dunn. She wouldn't even have to change her name. See, she's branding everything as Livy Dunn. What if she marries? Is she going to change it to Livy Skeens? No. Marry Ray. Keep your last name.
I just want to be clear, I did not start this conversation.
Bill, I love you so.
Do you like Livy Dunn? Ray?
Of course he likes living Dunn.
Yeah.
What are you kidding me?
What type of question is that?
Is that your type?
Jesus. God, nah, I don't like her. All right, let's get to the phones. We got Greg and Bethlehem checking in. What's up, Greg?
Good morning, Bill and Nostradamus.
What's going on, Bill? I mean, Bill. Greg.
Well, Ranger, his back issues, they can be vexing, but we don't really know. I mean, maybe he has some minor facet arthritis that can be very painful, but responsive to injections. If that's what he has, then I think, they may have some hope. If he's got a disc herniation or severe arthritis, then it's going to be a problem. But
There's nothing
we
good.
don't-
There is nothing good that can come from a back ailment. Nothing. It usually doesn't get better. And so if it doesn't get better and he's going to have back weakness, do this, do that, he's not going to have power. He's not going to be able to thrust.
Well, what I'm saying is that the backs are tricky, and you could have a minor arthritic situation that's responsible that can be treated by injections that may make him asymptomatic for a while. Maybe he needs injections every month, but
Well, is that, first
That
of all,
would be-
if he needs injections every month, is that good? like really,
No.
I mean, you're painting this with a big, broad, happy brush here. It's not good at any level. Whether he needs injections, it can manage it or not. The injection, you still have to recover from the injection. You'll probably miss a couple starts after an injection.
Well, usually the relief is pretty immediate with injections.
Well, trust me,
You know,
I have had 10 injections, and after each injection, you don't bounce back and plant tulips the next day.
Well, it depends on what the problem was. I mean, sometimes with a disc herniation, a small disc herniation, they might do an injection that helps, but it doesn't.
Listen, I see what
doesn't
Greg.
have
I
la-
see what you're doing here. You're trying to paint it with a happy brush, and I appreciate that. I want you to give me a pitcher who has been successful through back problems.
Yeah, you got me there. I can't. I don't have that.
I don't know. Maybe there is a
information.
list. I can't recall anything like that. So I don't know. It's not good. It's not. It's a spring training. This is early, and already he's experiencing back problems. Last year it ruined his whole season. All right, Greg.
Greg's gone.
Listen, I understand people want to, want to shortchange this whole thing. A back problem with a pitcher ain't good.
I think Dr. Mad Elf was showing off a little bit with the medical terms.
With the
with the
what is-
facets and the arthritic changes.
Yeah. In any event, we'll talk NCAA tournament with Aaron Bracy coming up next. Wrote a great book on St. Joseph's magical run in 2004. We'll talk about that. And he'll give us a couple of upset picks today. The NCAA tournament starts in about an hour and 10 minutes. Mike Missanelli Show continues, 97.5 Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers crushed by the Thunder. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. 76ers lost 133-100 to the Thunder last night, dropped them to 23-46 on the season, and that record has them tied for the fifth worst in the NBA. Of course, that pick in the first round is top six protected, so something we're going to continue to watch for this Sixers team throughout the season. The next 6 games for this 76ers team are against 6 teams with a combined 141 and 264 record, starting with Friday's game against the San Antonio Spurs. Down in Clearwater, the Phillies have pushed back Ranger Suarez to start due to back tightness. If Suarez is to miss time, Taiwan Walker appears to be in line to be the 5th starter to start the season. Also, Garrett Stubbs today was optioned to AAA. Rafael Marchand will serve as the team's backup catcher. Tonight, the Flyers are in D.C. to play the Capitals. We'll have the live broadcast of the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic with pregame coverage beginning at 6:30 on the station. Finally, in NFL news, Packers officially put in for a rule change to ban the tush push. We'll keep you updated with anything that happens from the NFL Rules Committee. This update is brought to you by True Green. True Green gets a golf course quality lawn for less than you think. Sign up at truegreen.com. That's TRUgreen.com. True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
It's
National title.
yeah, but I've got Alabama winning it.
See, I thought you would have been like Jay Billis, going all number one seeds.
Nah, I didn't go all number one seeds. I think St. John's is going to upset Auburn in the Final Four and play for the national championship. I think Alabama is going to upset Duke. And play for the
Really?
national- Or Houston, wherever I had them beating. I
So-
smell an upset with Alabama.
I didn't really put my neck out there. I got Florida and Houston, with Houston winning it all.
Oh, gee. Yeah, wait.
Yeah, I didn't really.
They go out on a limb.
I did not.
All right. Well, in any event, the NCAA tournament, we are still giving out teams in the NCAA tournament for you to ride for the rest of the NCAA tournament. And if your team gets to the Final Four, you'll get a restaurant gift card. So
Yeah, it's
we
pretty,
have
and there's still a lot of good teams.
still a
left.
lot of good teams left in this little baggie here. So when you call the show, it's the only way you can get it is by calling the show at 610-632-0975. But a man has covered college basketball in this town for a lot of years, and he wrote a great book called A Soaring Season, the incredible, inspiring story of the 2003-2004 St. Joseph's Hawks, which almost went to the Final Four. He joins us right now with his views on the NCAA tournament. Aaron Bracy. Aaron, how you making out?
Hey, Mike, how are you today?
Fantastic. First of all, great book. I read a lot of it so far, and you set it up very well. And first of all, what inspired you to go back and write a book like this?
Well, it's something that I've always wanted to do, and I had a few ideas for topics, and every idea that I had seemingly was taken. And in 2023, which was the 20th anniversary of the 03-04 St. Joe's team, I was thinking I would write a feature story for my website, big5hoops.com, about that 03-04 team. And I was like, wait a minute, maybe that's the book. And I was like, someone had to have written that book, you know, and I looked and no one had written it. So I just put my head down and started doing research and started doing interviews. And next thing you know, we had a book.
Yeah, a lot of research has to go into a book like this because you have to backtrack and talk to the important parties. How many people did you interview for this book?
Well, I interviewed 90 people. I did more than 100 interviews with 90 people. And I would like to call out that one of the really fun things about this was doing the research, going back and digging in to all the old newspaper stories. In fact, I don't know if you've gotten to it yet, but one of your stories from the Inquirer from March 7th, 1990 was actually really helpful in telling the story. Jim Boyle resigned from St. Joe's, and you reported that the 5 leading candidates to replace him were John Griffin, Paul Cormier, Paul Westhood, Bruce Parkhill, and Bob Stack. Not on that list was Phil Martelli, who was an assistant at the time. And it really helped me to tell the story because it's kind of the story of this team is, you know, there were a lot of the players, the coaches, they were, you know, Jameer Nelson wasn't recruited by any of the power conferences. A lot of the players didn't go to the schools they wanted. Phil Martelli was an afterthought at his own school when the job came open. So a lot of research, a lot of interviews, and that was really one of the huge fun parts of the process.
Yeah, you did. I did see that you had my story in the footnotes, and yeah, I guess I didn't have that one right. Phil
No, you got it right.
No, I got
John
it right with John
Griffin.
Griffin, and Phil Martelli
Yeah.
became his assistant. I know Jameer Nelson was the focus the whole year, and doing the research on how St. Joe's got him was really interesting. Tell a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's a really cool story. First of all, you know, he was only 5'11", as you know, so a lot of the power conference didn't recruit him just because of his size. St. Joe's saw him right away, and they loved him. So they started recruiting him. Temple liked him as well, and UMass liked him, Bruiser Flint. And St. Joe's was in on him from the very beginning, and they showed him a lot of love. And the Temple and the UMass story are really interesting, as I tell it in the book. John Chaney really liked him, but in John Chaney's matchup zone, Mike, as well as anyone, they relied on tall guards. Their guards guarded the three-point line without jumping to contest three-point shots. They needed to get into passing lanes in the matchup zone. And Jameer just wasn't a great fit for the matchup zone. And then as far as UMass, Bruiser Flynn had coached one of the assistant coaches at Chester at a previous stop at Coppin State. And Jameer took a ride up to UMass. They really liked the visit. And on the way home, he got caught in traffic in New York City, and it took like 8 hours to get back to Chester. He said, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah, Jameer didn't like that traffic in New York City.
No.
He's used to getting around Philly quickly. All right, Aaron, so listen, Big Five Hoops has been in your blood for a long time. I just have to ask you, the status of the Big Five or the Big Six, getting to the NCAA tournament again. It's been a really long drought, and, the NIL shapes a lot of this. Villanova is always going to be a contender. What about the other schools and the future of them actually doing something like St. Joe did that year?
Yeah, it's going to be a real challenge. And you mentioned Villanova; they're in a separate ball game. They have the NIL funds, but the other schools essentially are more or less in one bid leagues now. So you have to not only have a good team, but you have to get lucky and you have to win your conference tournament, get into the NCAA tournament. St. Joe's had an outside chance of that this year. They went to the semifinals of the Atlantic 10 tournament. But it's been 3 straight years without a Big Five team in the tournament. And if you look at each school, there's been some really long droughts here. And, to do what St. Joe's did, they built that thing over time. Little by little, they added some pieces. And today with the NIL and the transfer portal, like those players would not have stuck around. Delonte West most likely would not have stuck around. Who knows about Jameer? But it's just harder today, if not impossible, to replicate what St. Joe's did.
Yeah, we're talking to Aaron Bracy. He wrote the book, Soaring Season, the incredible, inspiring story of the 2003-04 St. Joe Hawks, who got one shot away from the Final Four. John Lucas Jr. with a big shot for Oklahoma State, smite them. And Jameer had one last shot to do it, and his shot did not fall. I know you mentioned Delonte West, and I know you tried to get in touch with him to do this book. Well, tell me about your efforts to get him. And first of all, I got to tell the people you're listening to WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. Delonte, and I think at one point he agreed to talk to you, or how did that work out?
Yeah, so I talked to his family, and I wanted to talk to every player on the team. I talked to every player but Delonte and Arvidius Livius, who no one seems to know where he is overseas. But I was in contact with his family. They knew about the book. They said Delonte was amenable to an interview, and we were just never able to make it happen. And, I don't know more than sort of what's been out there publicly. I reported a little bit of that in the book, and then I did a lot of background on Delonte. I think people are going to really enjoy learning more about Delonte and what made him tick and how he became so great. But I have been in contact with his family since. I sent him and his family a couple copies of the book, and I do hope that at some point we can make contact and perhaps for a second edition. But I definitely, hope the best for Delonte. I hope in some way that this book can maybe help him find some peace, perhaps, and just I think people learning a little bit about them will at least be a little bit more sympathetic.
It's a really, really sad story with Delonte West. All right, let me just get tap into your expertise here for the NCAA tournament. What upsets are you looking at in this tournament for the first couple days?
Well, a couple teams that I've seen that I really like. Today I really like Yale. They're 13 seed going against Texas A&M. Not going to be easy, but this is a really good and veteran team. One of the things about the Ivy League is they are kind of still able to keep players together. So this is a Yale team that has had players together. They've been in the system. James Jones has had a lot of success. I like Yale going to the Sweet 16. BCU is 11 seed out of the Atlantic.
You got to win in 2 games?
Yeah, you got to take Flyers, Mike.
Hey, I'll take a hoagie on that, by the way.
Don't put your mortgage on it. But,
yeah, all right.
I like VCU. I like VCU going to the Sweet 16. This is a really good VCU team out of the Atlantic 10. They have a really good player in Max Shulga, really good coach in Ryan Odom, who has been rumored to be the next Villanova coach. And I also like Drake today to make a bit of a run, a good Drake team. So, but, with this tournament, Mike, your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, I hear you. Aaron, good talking to you. Good luck with the book. It's called A Soaring Season, the story of the 2003-04 St. Joe's Hawks. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much, Mike. Appreciate your time.
That's Aaron Bracy. He's been covering Big Five Hoops for a really long time in this town and has a website called Big Five Hoops. So there you go. He likes Drake. He likes Yale. I do not.
Which one? You don't like either one of them?
I don't like either one of them. I think people look at this tournament and they go, that team can pull an upset. I heard Jay Wright talking about it also on it. At the end of the day, they're an Ivy League team, and they're going to be outclassed by talent. So and I look at Yale's a 7.5-point underdog.
Yeah.
Had the line been a little more slender, I think they would have a fighting chance, but not now.
Yeah, and Drake's a 6.5-point underdog.
Yeah, Drake. I mean, Drake's kind of a live dog, but I still, I think people try to outsmart themselves to try to come up with upsets in this tournament. They go, well, that looks like it could be an upset. That one looks like it could be an upset. I do like VCU. I agree with him that they're going to the Sweet 16. If Yale goes to the Sweet 16, I don't know what to say.
You could buy me lunch. I got that in my bracket.
I'm going to enroll in grad school.
Wait, who do you have in the Sweet 16?
Yale.
You have Yale going to the Sweet 16?
I do in my bracket.
If Yale gets to the Sweet 16, Ray, I'll drive up to New Haven and buy pizza and bring it back here because apparently New Haven is the pizza capital of the world.
So do you have?
Did you know that? New Haven, Connecticut.
I did know that. It's supposed to have great pizza.
Yeah.
Ray, do you have them beating Michigan or UC San Diego?
I got Michigan going down as well. I think that's going to be a little bit of the chaos quadrant right there.
I get Michigan going down in the first round.
Yeah, I do as well, which is why if Yale gets past A&M, I think Yale's a Sweet 16 team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Yaleys.
The Yaleys.
It's an experienced group. They've done this before. A&M is too prone to going through slumps offensively for this tournament. Like, I don't trust A&M beyond the first weekend, and if I'm going to get crazy in my bracket, there's a double digit that I'll get crazy with.
Yeah, I have A&M in my Sweet 16. Not that I'm basing this off of any knowledge.
A&M.
Yeah, this is just all gut. You know what? Maybe I'm Mikey Nostradamus over here.
I don't think you are close.
The Mystic Mike.
To that when it comes to anything that has to do with college. 610-632-0975. It is the Mike Missanelli Show. Back after this.
The Philadelphia 76ers
Have our handicapper, Kirk Chrisley. Vegas mistakes coming up in a little bit. So if you're still trying to get your last-minute selections for your NCAA tournament pool, I have 5 what you would consider upsets
In the first round.
in the first round. And that's it. I'm tapped out at 5.
And I got
because sometimes you can outsmart yourself.
yeah.
What
I
you
got
got?
to count mine. 4, 5. I got probably more than you.
You do?
6,
Yeah. Well,
7, 8. I got 9. 9 upsets.
my
in the first
play
round.
of the day is Colorado State beating Memphis. I have UC San Diego beating Michigan in an upset in the first round. On the right side of the bracket, I'll take VCU in an upset over BYU. And I got Vandy with a slight upset over St. Mary's. Vandy
I have that too.
Is another SEC team that got in the tournament. You're going to watch that. And then Utah State over UCLA is my 5 upsets.
Look at that. I have that as well.
Well, look at that.
Now, mine is based off of a lot of research last night.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. You poured over the books.
I did. You know what I looked at? I was Mikey Miss last night.
You were looking at the lines?
I read the
You
lines.
were reading the lines? So that's good work by you.
I was reading the lines. Now, what do you think about UNC?
I got them losing.
I got them winning. I think all the buzz about them not
the buzz works.
being worthy.
The buzz works in one game. It's the first game it works.
You don't think they beat Ole Miss?
No, I got Ole Miss beating them.
What's the line on that?
Ole Miss is favored in that game by
only 1.5. No,
1.5.
no. UNC. This is why I went with UNC.
UNC is favored. in the
UNC
game?
is favored by a 1.5.
They're getting too much. Now they're getting too much credit for being that team that has something to prove.
Yeah.
So I think they're going out.
Well, we'll find out today.
Yeah.
It starts. March Madness officially starts today.
All right. Now, Bill, what is the chat board saying about the Phils and the sports mediums feel that there's something a little iffy right now?
So we're going back because we started with the Phillies talk about an hour ago.
Yeah.
My feel for what I was reading was they're more optimistic than you. Now, they're not happy. They're with me. They're not happy about this whole Taiwan Walker thing. They love the fact that Stubbs was finally optioned and that you're going to give Rafael Marchand a chance because he's a better player. But they're not as pessimistic as you are about this baseball team.
I wouldn't call what I'm doing pessimism. I try to ward off the evil spirits of this. Like, I don't want to feel like this. But I'm true to myself. I get a feeling and I go, there's something that I think is not going to be as good as last year. And I got the same feeling with the Eagles as well. So
the Eagles, though, I think it's premature. They're loaded up. We've talked about this before. The Eagles got 8 draft picks this season. They're probably going to have 12 next year once the compensatory picks get released next season. That's 20 picks over the next 2 years. And there's a name that keeps coming up. Now, John Kincade talked about it in the morning. They asked Adam Schefter about it. Shefty was a little bit coy in his response. Taiwan Walker, defensive end for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The kid's young. He's still on his rookie deal. He has a 5th-year option because he was a first-round draft pick. He's got back-to-back double-digit sack seasons, and there's rumors that the Jags want to trade him. If the Eagles and Howie Roseman make a big swing and they bring in a guy like Taiwan Walker and you add him to that defensive line, I think all of those feelings you're having would change.
But here's what goes into the feelings. A, it's a semi-rebuild. B, people are gunning for him. They're a Super Bowl champion. Every game is a Super Bowl for the team that plays them. C, the Commanders are better. D, they're going to face a tougher schedule. And E, sometimes when you win, you smell yourself.
I don't think this team's smelling themselves, though.
I think it's natural to smell yourself.
But I don't think this team's going to. I mean, not when you got guys like Hurts and A.J. Brown and even, the veteran leader, Layden Johnson now, the sole vet still on that team, Zach Bond. I think these guys are still going to be hungry.
You're everywhere you go. You are worshipped. You're going to go to the White House soon. You're worshipped. Everything is worship, worship, worship. You're the greatest, greatest, greatest.
But look at that defense with all the Georgia Bulldogs. They're used to that. I mean, every single season, you're a national champion contender, and even when you win it, you come back the next year to try to win it again.
Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl. It's impossible to ward off how good you feel about yourself when you win the Super Bowl. And just the slightest little loss of focus can hurt you.
This team just doesn't seem like a team. Look, maybe I'm basing it off of more of how I feel with the fans, but it feels like the team's looking at it the same way. When they won in 2018, the 2017 season, but they win in February of 2018, it seemed like the joy, not that it was higher, but it was almost like people were selling their soul. Just let us win one. Just let us win one. Now they win it, and we're back to, all right, how do you repeat? And it seems like everybody has that mentality, and I can't imagine that Howie Roseman is going to be complacent. Oh, yeah, we could have a step back.
You're looking at it logically. I'm looking at it metaphysically. It's like when a medium tells somebody they lights a candle, and the medium goes, "Boy, I see a bad health situation for you." And then after the session's over, the medium goes, "Man, I hated to tell him that, but I had to. It was the metaphysical feeling. That's the feeling I have."
Does this only apply to sports, or could you look at Ray and kind of predict his future?
I can't predict.
Being the youngin' that he is.
It's just a sports medium, metaphysical feeling. I have no human instincts whatsoever.
Well, that's for sure.
I'm more curious. You talked about, you went to a medium, they told you about job possibilities. Did they give you any advice for working with Bill?
I went to a medium. No, I haven't been to a medium in years.
No, with me, it's just therapy.
Maybe I should go now.
Yeah,
now it's just a psychiatrist.
I'm working with Bill. But, the guy I went to, it was funny. I saw a medium in New Orleans, which is like, hey, that's heavy. You go to New Orleans.
Wait, when we were there?
No. Many years ago. It was like I was in New Orleans for something. I go, let me go see this meeting. And that's serious stuff. They feel that voodoo vibe down there.
Yes.
Right? This was over a job. And then it was something over a relationship. And then, the guy I went to see locally, his eyelids would flutter. Like his eyelids would, and I'm going, wow, this is. Like he was feeling something. You could tell. It was like a physical reaction with his eyelids. Now, I don't know if he had trained his eyelids to do that, but I'm thinking, man, he's got some ghost or
I would think you would have
flapping
been
his eyelids here. Right?
You seem to me like a skeptic.
I'm a total skeptic.
So I'm surprised that you were so into this.
Well, no, I try a lot of stuff because if you don't try it, how do you know? You can't judge.
That's true.
So as much of a skeptic as I am, I got to push through that and see what's up.
Now, wait, how many different mediums have you been to?
3.
Because I would think if you found the medium that was right, you'd go back to that one.
I'm not going to go to New Orleans.
See, I went to a medium one time. I knocked on the door, and she said, "Who is it?" And I left because clearly she wasn't good.
See, that's a rim shot.
Hey-o.
That's a rim
Oh.
shot. All right. Well, can I tell you? So you're making fun of the metaphysical, which in the voodoo psychic world, you could get punished for that.
Hope not.
610-632-0975. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers crushed by the Thunder. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by, I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. 76ers lost 133-100 to the Thunder last night, dropping them to 23-46 on the season, keep them tied for the 5th worst record in the NBA. Next 6 games for the 76ers are against 6 teams with a combined 141 and 264 records, starting with Friday's game against the San Antonio Spurs. So for a team that needs to stay in that top 6 to keep its first-round pick, they're playing a lot of the teams that they're battling with at the bottom of the standings. Down in Clearwater, the Phillies have pushed back Ranger Suarez's start due to back tightness. If Suarez is to miss time, Taiwan Walker would be in line to be the 5th starter to start the season. Walker, of course, struggling through last season and struggled yesterday in his spring training start. Also out of Clearwater, Garrett Stubbs this morning was optioned to AAA. Rafael Marchand will be the backup catcher for this Phillies team. Tonight, the Flyers are in D.C. to play the Capitals with the live broadcast of the game with pregame coverage beginning at 6:30 right here on the station. Finally, in NFL news, Packers officially put in for a rule change to ban the tush push. We'll keep you updated with anything that happens coming out of that. This update is brought to you by ExpressPros.com. Make hiring easy with the workforce experts. Let the people at Express Employment Professionals find you the right fit. Hiring is about people, not algorithms. Visit ExpressPros.com. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5TheFanatic.com.
Philadelphia
Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. We're all over the mat today. We're talking Phillies and whether you're getting a bad vibe. I know it's too early. It's too early. I get it. I'm sorry. I get a feel and I got to put it out there. You want me to do? Hold it in? No good when you hold stuff in. It festers and boils.
Listen, I've tried to be positive about the Phillies, and I still am. But the news that breaks yesterday, it is hard to feel great right now that you're going to have Taiwan Walker in the starting
Well, it's
rotation.
not devastating. You got one guy who can't pitch, so it's not devastating to the whole team. I'm just telling you, like, overall, there are little symptomatic things that happen. You know? The symptomatic things that happened with the Sixers that you ignored was that Joel Embiid wasn't ready for training camp. You ignored that. You also ignored the fact that Paul George was 34 years old. You ignored the fact that Caleb Martin was the system player. You ignored a lot of signs there, Bill.
Let me tell you the difference, though. I don't think it's fair to compare the Philadelphia Phillies to the 76ers. Because at least this Phillies team last season, for the first half, was one of the most dominant baseball teams we've ever seen. They were. 2 years ago, they were a game away from going to the World Series. The year before that, they were in the World Series. You can't say that about the 76ers, who haven't been out of the second round, who have a guy like Joel who's never got him out of the second round.
Comparing them to the Phillies and what they did. I'm talking about little vibe signs.
But I don't think you could have those feels about the Phillies that you had about the Sixers. That's what I'm saying. Well, let me ask you a question, because this was something I wanted to bring up, and I told Ray. How important do you think it is for the Phillies to come out hot this season, or would you rather them not come out hot? Because if you look at the 2 seasons before, they started 21-29. They fired Girardi. They go all the way to the World Series. Then they start 25-30, turn it around, go 65-42 to the rest of the way, become one game away from going to the World Series again. Last year, 40-18, then 61-32, and then they just fell off.
I don't look at stuff like that.
So you don't care if they come out hot. You don't care if they come out slow. No preference.
It's irrelevant. It's a long season. Whether they come out hot or early or later, it doesn't. It's the same difference.
But you say that. But if you look at this baseball team, that's pretty much been the same team for the last 4 years. They've never put together 2 halves of a season.
Who does? If somebody put together 2 halves of a season, they win 120 games. Nobody does that.
But I'm talking. I mean,
it's a long season. Pitchers get hurt. You got to fill in here. Guys get hurt.
I get that, but we're not talking about winning a little bit more games. Like you're talking about drastic differences. I mean,
what's the most you could actually win? What? Teams will max out at 108 games, right? And that's an amazing season. 108. Phillies won 95 last year. Didn't matter. They started hot and fell off. No, they still won 95. It didn't matter.
I think it mattered because
doesn't matter.
The team you saw in the NLDS was the team that went 34-35.
But you're not
after the All-Star break.
You're not capable of sustaining that kind of play for an entire season.
So you're proving my point.
No, I'm not. Because once you get into the playoffs, it's a new season completely.
I think you're proving my point. When it's not, if you're not capable of sustaining that for an entire season, then I almost would rather see them start out slow and get hot at the right time like they did the prior 2 seasons. Instead of starting out like they did last year, like gangbusters, and then falling off after the break. So maybe I don't care about Taiwan Walker. Lose some games.
Team that gets hot. Baseball team gets hot. A baseball team doesn't get hot. A baseball team is a baseball team. Every game is different. It's like the hotness doesn't carry over, does it? Hitting carries over. Hitting, you have to hit the pitcher. There's no momentum that carries over in baseball.
What are you talking about?
There isn't.
There's a reason why hitters are streaky.
But pitching defines everything. So even if you are hot, that you can get cooled down the next night if a pitcher shuts you down.
I get that.
It's not like basketball where you're making shots and you're in a groove.
With this lineup, we have seen how streaky they could be. When they're hot, there's nobody better. When they're cold, there may be nobody worse. You have a lot of streaky hitters in this lineup.
A lot of streaky hitters in every team in baseball. You try to put baseball on an even level.
Yeah, but you're saying the fact that it doesn't carry over. I don't agree.
It doesn't carry over because pitching is what defeats it. You could be the hottest team on earth. If you're facing the good pitcher, going to get you out that day, you're not hot anymore. All right, 610-632-0975. Let's go to the phones. Keith and Sharon Hill joins us. What's up, Keith? Here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Keith.
Hey, what's up, Mike? I just
going
had
on,
my
buddy?
procedure. Me and my son just got home and had the procedure. I'm not going to be able to participate next week, so he will be filling in for me.
Oh, okay. All right.
You still coming to the
Yeah,
game? We going to be able to
he
say hi to you?
Oh, hell yeah. You're going to hear my mouth. Trust me. I'm like Jalen
All
Williams.
right.
I don't never
It's
stop
all right.
talking.
It's okay. Your son can fill in for you.
Mm-hmm. He right here. You can talk to him. He can hear you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm calling just to let you know, too. I know you guys ain't going to like it, but I'm not a Sixer fan. I'm a Knicks fan.
Yeah, well, you're following a good
Yeah.
team. It's a violation, but you're following a pretty good team.
I didn't just start following them. I've been following them since Earl Pearl, so it ain't
Yeah.
this ain't new.
What made you a Knick fan?
I can't do the Sixers, man. You guys, y'all just they get things.
Oh,
they get
you
people on
can't,
the
you
team
can't,
to
you
set
can't,
teams
you
to fan
guys
base.
us. You can't, you guys us, man. Because you're a Philadelphian.
Man,
You can't, you guys us.
I am from Philly.
Yeah, well, you can't, you guys
The
us.
Sixers, I mean, Mike, I got an analogy for the Sixers right now because you got Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey is George Costanza, okay? And he walking around with that cashmere sweater with that red dot giving it to people.
Oh, that's funny, man. That's funny. Hey,
He-
listen,
he-
I
he-
I
he-
don't believe Daryl Morey should keep his job, so I'm on the record saying that.
And how many times George Costanza got fired?
He got fired a lot.
I'm trying to tell you, Mike.
No, you're right, but I don't care where he ends up next if he gets hired or whatever. I care about now. They should go in a different direction, in my view.
He better take that sweater with him too, because he can't stop putting it on people. As soon as they put it on, they look down at that sleeve, Mike. You know what they see? They see that red dot.
The red dot on this.
You know what that red dot is, Mike?
Georgie, it was cashmere. All right, man.
Right, it's not the sweater, George. It's the cashmere.
It was the cashmere. All right, I'm going to give you a team here, bro. All right, you ride this.
Florida.
You're rest of the tournament. Uh-oh. You know, I like this team. I think this team to get to the Sweet 16. The Marquette. What are they now?
Marquette.
Right? Marquette, you
Golden
got.
Eagles?
The Golden Eagles.
We got Marquette, dude.
You got Marquette, man. Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right, Keith. You got it, buddy. Keith gets Marquette. So there's still 2 number 1 seeds in there that you can grab and win the whole, get to the Final Four. A number 1 seed. At least 2 of them are getting to the Final Four.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there is a chance. I know you're not going out on a limb saying it, but there's a chance all 4 make it. There's a
Yeah.
chance they go 4 for 4.
Yeah, I don't
We
think.
got some good basketball teams.
I don't think that's happening.
Wait, who'd you pick to win it all?
Alabama.
And Ray?
Duke.
And I got Houston.
I got Alabama beating Duke.
All right, we'll see what shakes. We got about
I'll be so
45
mad if
minutes.
you get Houston right. The one year I'm not riding Houston away.
You rode Houston last year, right?
I've been a big Houston guy for like the last
They're
5
a good
years.
team, and they're well coached by that crazy man.
Yeah. Now, that caller brought up the Sixers as we're talking basketball. Ray did some math before the show, Mike. The next 5 games may dictate if this team gets into the top 6 of the draft.
Talking Sixers?
Oh, yeah. Ray, what do we got? What's the record?
It's the next 6.
Next 6 games. What's the record of the 6 opponents?
141 and 264.
All right, so they're lousy teams they're playing. However, let's go one by one. God, give me them in order.
San Antonio Spurs at San Antonio.
Who won last night? With I used to do the Caucasian player of the night. You don't because you don't remember that I even had a show. But I used to do this thing called the White Boy Report. Did you see who went off for San Antonio last night?
I did not.
I want you to pronounce his name.
All right, hold on. Let me find it.
San Antonio won last night.
Who'd they beat last night?
They beat a fairly decent team.
They beat the Knicks.
That's right. They beat the Knicks last night. Mamu Kishkavili went off in a career night for the San Antonio Spurs.
Wow, he dropped 34
He
last
dropped
night.
34, and look at his 3-point shooting.
Well, look at his 7 for 7 from beyond the arc, 13 for 14 from the field.
Yeah, Mamu Kishkavili, or whatever, however you pronounce that. Now he was the kid. Is he the guy from Seton Hall?
No,
Yes, he
he
is.
Did he go to Seton Hall?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, so he went to Seton Hall, and the Celtics had him, didn't they?
He was
Thought the Celtics
he was a
had-
Buck.
Oh, he was a Milwaukee Buck?
Yeah.
All right, well, he went off last night. So San Antonio, not exactly a dub for the Sixers. All right, who else?
All right, they have San Antonio. Then they're at Atlanta. That's a loss, right? They'll lose to the Hawks.
They'll lose to Atlanta.
They'll lose to the Hawks. Then they finish the road trip at the Pelicans.
Zion's back playing. You never know. They've lost 9 straight, by the way, the Pelicans.
No, they won yesterday.
Oh, they won last night?
Yeah, they won a game.
Okay.
So then they're at the Pelicans. Then they come home for a knockout against the Washington
That's
Wizards.
a W for the Sixers.
Ray wants to try to get the whole crowd cheering for the Wizards since we're all going to be there.
Oh, I'm going to get called into a meeting after this show.
Oh, was I not supposed to say that? Well, the best was make it worse, right?
No, we're only the flagship station of the 76ers.
What a bright thing to say on the air.
Our producer rooting for the Wizards.
All right, let's be honest here. And I'm sure the Sixers would agree with us. They're trying to lose too. At this point in the season, we want the top 6 pick. Anyway. And when
You're
we
coming
say
to the meeting with me.
Yeah, I guess I will. They're home against Washington, home against the Miami Heat.
Heat will win that game. The Heat have been struggling. They're going to win that game. You got no problems.
And then Toronto.
The Sixers have it locked. And your boy again last night, production. Your boy, Quentin Grimes, yes.
Should have hit the over, man.
Uh-huh.
And Ray's Justin Edwards came through hitting the over.
Justin Edwards with 19 markers last night for your Sixers.
So
and off the bench, Chuma Okeke with 14.
So hopefully they get that top 6 pick.
Mike Missanelli Show continues. On the other side, Bill thinking that he could actually win the Masters. We'll tell you about how after this.
97.5 The Fanatics Knockout Tournament.
6320975, Mike Missanelli Show. All right, I'm going to the Masters in a couple weeks.
Yeah, that's an awesome thing, man.
I've been there a couple times. It's a nice experience. It's very weird. It's so exclusive, and yet the food and the merchandise is cheap. So Bill posed something, which is like a classic barroom chat as it involves the Masters.
Yeah, it popped up on my Instagram. And for the record, before I say it, I don't think I could do this because I'm not a very good putter. But what popped up on my Instagram yesterday was this question. Could you win the Masters if you started every single hole on the green, but you would be put at the farthest possible spot on the green from the hole? So think about that. The other players would all play normally. You would just have to putt your way to victory. Could you do it? Now, I went and looked. Augusta has 4 par 5s. So even if you 4-putt on every single par 5, you're birdieing those 4. That's 4 under right there.
Do you think it's easy to 4-putt a par 5 green?
I think you would 4-putt.
Really? Do you see the greens at the Masters?
I know, and they're fast as hell.
But they're also they're weird. So you can roll off. A guy like you would hit a putt thinking that you had enough, and it would be 15 feet short. And then the next putt you would hit, and it would go 20 feet long and roll onto the fringe. And now you're not making 4-putt. And now it's a 5-putt.
But you would have to also think, though. I don't think you're going to 5-putt every hole.
This is from the same guy who thinks he can beat Tiger Woods.
I'm admitting that I probably couldn't do this. I am not a great putter. My short game is not great.
That you play an average course and you could 3-putt every hole, which
I'm
most
saying
people
that
can do.
Some golfers that are very good putters could probably do
some
this.
Some golfers. I'm talking about you. You think
I don't think I could do it. I'm admitting I don't think I could do it. Because
everybody is an average golfer. Even the single-digit handicappers at a club would be an average golfer when it came to the Masters greens.
But I think that people who are decent putters could probably do this. I posed a question to my cousin, who's a single-digit. He thinks he would win by 15 strokes.
No respect for professional
athletes. I'm saying I couldn't do it.
You have no respect for professional athletes.
No, Mike, listen. I'm not saying I would beat them or that. First of all, I can't do this. Let me keep saying that. I'm not a good putter.
Winning score last year was what?
11 under.
So you're talking about 4 rounds now where you're not going to 5-putt? You're never going to 5-putt.
Well, even if you did.
And even if you did,
you're assuming
you're over par.
But you're assuming you're never going to 3-putt or maybe even 2-putt. What if you get lucky and on a par 5 you 2-putt? That's an albatross.
You got to go 11 under. You realize you got 11 under, and that most of the time on a par 3 you're going to 4-putt, and on a par 5 you may 6-putt, and you're losing strokes, and then you have to catch up. You think that you're going to play even the whole time, and every time you get a birdie you're going to go, well, that's 2 under, that's 3 under, that's 4 under. You're going to lose strokes.
I would think over 4 rounds you would probably be able to go 11 under.
Over 4 rounds you're going to go worse. 2 rounds you might be able to do that.
And look, Scheffler finished 11 under. Second place was 7 under. Third place was 4 under. Morikawa finished +2 in the final round.
These guys aren't even making putts in regulation.
Well, I went and looked.
Most of them are over par.
I went and looked. The average amount of putts at the Masters is 28.5 per round, which means these guys are averaging under 2 putts a hole. So even if you double that and you 4-putt every hole, you're winning. You're winning the Masters.
Right. What do you feel about this? Is this Bill Blusters or is this actuality?
This is blusters. I mean, this is, again.
I am saying I can't do it. I am not a good enough putter to do it. But I think this question that popped up on my Instagram, I think there are a lot of average golfers who would win the Masters with this.
Average?
Recreational, I'm saying. Guys who play at the local courses. The guys we play with.
Have you ever 4-jacked a putt, a hole on your course?
I have.
Okay. Well, but then that's a 6-jack on a Masters green.
Yeah, you're probably right. Well, look, I played Pinehurst number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2 is a course that they've played. The Open's been there. The U.S. Open's been there. And the greens are very tough. I mean, extremely, extremely tough. But it wasn't like you're 5-putting every single one.
You have a delusion. I swear to God, I don't know how you got this, but you are delusional.
People, MBD on YouTube says, next segment, Bill paints the Mona Lisa.
or the Sistine Chapel. I don't think what Michelangelo did, Ray, was that difficult.
All right, listen.
Not at all.
I could be on my back for 17 months and paint the Sistine Chapel.
For the golfers out there, I want you to hit us up on the text board, 610-632-0975. If you started the Masters on the green, farthest from the pin, could you win the Masters and all you have to do is putt? I'm curious what the text board's going to have on this.
It's par 4. You're on the green, furthest away, which means you're 60 feet away.
Three putt.
You're not going to get within 25 feet of that hole because you're going to be scared to death to hit it. Then you're going to blow it by, and it's going to be 20 feet more past the hole. Then you're going to three-putt that. You're insane. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers crushed by the Thunder. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. 76ers lost 133-100 to the Thunder last night, dropped them to 23-46 on the season, and that keeps them now tied with the 5th worst record in the NBA. The next 6 games are going to do a lot to determine whether or not the 76ers are in position to keep that top 6 protected first-round pick. They play 6 teams with a combined 141 and 264 record, starting with Friday's game against the San Antonio Spurs. Down in Clearwater, the Phillies have pushed back Ranger Suarez's start due to back tightness. If Suarez is to miss time, Taiwan Walker is in line to be the 5th starter to open up this season. Also down there in Clearwater today, Garrett Stubbs was optioned to AAA. Rafael Marchand will serve as the team's backup catcher. Tonight, the Flyers are in D.C. to play the Capitals. We'll have the live broadcast of the game right here on the Fanatic with pregame coverage beginning at 6:30 on the station. Finally, in NFL news, the Packers officially put in for the rule change to ban the tush push. We'll keep you updated with anything that happens regarding that. This update is brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. At Jackson Hewitt, expert tax prep is now $149 or less. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/49-149. I'm Ray Dunn in the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ricky Batali.
19 minutes, first NCAA tournament game is on, and former President Barack Obama has published his selections. In case anybody's interested, you want to get your last picks in, you want to follow Obama. He's usually pretty good. He's a big basketball fan. So if you start with his bracket in the upper left, he's got Auburn beating Alabama. He's got Creighton beating Louisville. It could happen. He's got Michigan beating UC San Diego. I got the other way. He's got Texas A&M over Yale. Now, you would think an academic would go with the Yaleys, but he's going Texas A&M. He's got North Carolina. He's buying the North Carolina hype, beating Ole Miss. He's got Iowa State over Lipscomb. Marquette beating New Mexico. Michigan State over Bryant. That's Little Phil Martelli's team. Florida over Norfolk State. UConn over Oklahoma. Memphis over Colorado State. I don't know, ex-Prez. I think Colorado State coming through. Maryland over Grand Canyon. Missouri over Drake. Texas Tech over UNC Wilmington. And Arkansas beating Kansas, the lower seed. And John Calipari moving on. And St. John's beating Omaha. And the others first round, he's got Duke, Baylor over Mississippi State. He's got Oregon over Liberty, Arizona over Akron, VCU over BYU. This needs to be a fashionable pick. Wisconsin over Montana, Vanderbilt over St. Mary's. That's what I have. He's got Alabama over Robert Morris, Houston over SIU Edwardsville, Georgia beating Gonzaga, Clemson beating McNeese, Purdue beating High Point, the Illini over Texas, Kentucky over Troy, Utah State, he's got another one of my selections, over UCLA, and Tennessee over Wofford. For his final four teams, he's got Duke, he's got, who is this? Tennessee. I like that team too. Florida and Auburn. So seed one. So three number one seeds and a 2 seed.
Who's he have winning it all?
Winning it all. He's got Duke playing Florida, and he's got Duke winning it all. It's your presidential selection.
Cooper Flagg, who's healthy, right? He's going to play.
They haven't said anything yet.
So Mike and
I would not play him in the first round.
Oh, you wouldn't have to.
We're playing Mount St. Mary's. They're a 32-point favorite.
Yeah, Mike and I were looking at the line during the break. Mount St. Mary's.
The Mount with a big win, though.
Right,
what do you give the Mount credit?
Right, what do you think the money line is on Duke against Mount St. Mary's?
Minus 10,000.
Minus 100,000.
Oh.
100,000 to win 100.
You bet $1 million, you win $1,000.
It's 1,000 you didn't have the day before, and it can't possibly be an upset.
32.5 point.
Can't possibly be an upset. Duke can't possibly lose that game as a 32-point favorite. So no matter what you bet $10 million. Is it worth it? If you're a gazillionaire,
yeah, why not bet it?
$10 million, you're going to have, what are you going to have? You're going to have
if you're
$10,000 you're going to win?
Yeah, and if you're a gazillionaire, $10,000 doesn't move the needle. It's not worth it.
$10,000 you give to your kid. Go buy yourself some cigarettes.
If you're a gazillionaire, you're carrying $10,000 in your pocket.
Listen, $10,000 for your kid. So listen, I don't want you to be some rich prodigy here. Here's $10,000 that I just won. Do what you want with it. Buy some books.
Yeah, it's probably not worth it.
All right, it's 12 o'clock. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. You're listening to WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Mr. Ray Dunn with 3 stories that'll delight us. Ray, what do we have today? I believe we're starting with something with the NCAA tournament. Is that correct?
That we are. How could we not on a day like today? John Calipari meeting with the media, and Arkansas reporter Anthony Christensen decided to get a haircut right before the tournament. You want to look your best come March because you're probably going to be doing some social videos. Whatever you're doing, everything takes another step up. And Calipari, very nice, right? He notices the fact there was a haircut. Except He was not a fan.
Did you get a haircut?
I did, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Does it look good?
No.
Come on. Come on, man.
Oh, he told him his haircut didn't look good?
Did you get a haircut?
I did, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Does it look good?
No.
No.
The no is so honest too. It's not even like he's trying to like bust
So it's
chops.
diminishing.
Did you get a haircut?
I did, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Does it look good?
No.
Calipari's got that kind of, he's got the gift of gab.
Oh,
That's why people like him.
Oh, man.
He didn't
just-
like me, but people like him. So this is interesting, Ray. You say Calipari. I say Calipari.
I say Calipari as well.
You say Calipari?
Probably Calipari in that
what do you
case.
say? Do you say
If I'm on the same side as Bill in pronunciation, I'm probably on the wrong side.
Do you say Mario or Mario?
Mario, I say.
Mario.
He says Mario. See, he's a par-mar guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't
You
know why I
notice
say Calipari.
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 I think it's
John
Calipari.
Calipari?
Mario.
Calipari, not Calipari.
Chuck Ben
Calipari.
Derek.
Mario, not Mario.
Chuck Ben Derek.
Bed.
Chuck Ben Derek.
There.
All right.
Ick. Now say it fast all together.
What's the second story?
All right. This week, I believe it was 2 days ago now, marked the anniversary of LeBron James posterizing, and that feels like understating what he did to Jason Terry. The iconic one where he reaches up and just puts Jason Terry on the floor. And circulating again this week was Norris Cole went on Gilbert Arenas' podcast over the last year or two and broke down that moment. And it's so funny to hear him talk about what it sounds like to be on the floor with LeBron James. Here he is breaking down why he threw the lob to LeBron James in the moment and why that moment meant so much to that Heat team.
I got to know first and foremost, why you do that to that man? Jason Terry's a good dude.
First of all, do you know the backstory of how much trash was being talked in that series? Jet talked trash a lot to Bron. JT beat them. In his mind, he feel like he owned them. He could say what he wanted to say. I got one. He got his championship tattoo. I turned the ball over, so I'm trying to make up for the turnover. So I pressured him. D-Wade did the back tip. We got it back, and so I had a chance to lay it up. One thing when you hear Bron, when he runs, you can hear it. He's like, and I heard it. I was about to take a dribble and lay it up, but I heard, and I was like, oh, I don't even got to see him. I just had to make sure JT couldn't tip. He was running full speed, so no matter who was standing there, it was going to be a freight train. I didn't think JT was going to jump. I thought he was going to get out the way, but he turned around and jumped and was like,
I should have arrested you for accessory to murder. You did a drive-by and you set it up. What the hell would Jason Terry think?
Well, you got it. I give him points for competitiveness, but you get dunked on sometimes.
I don't know.
What are you going to do? Get out of the way? Be a coward? You can't be a coward on the floor. Jason Terry talks a lot of crap. He had to back something up.
You're not going to catch LeBron in that moment.
He took a risk.
No.
He took a risk. It's worse if you run away.
It's so much better if you run away. If Norris Cole can hear that coming down the floor, you don't think that Jason Terry can hear that too?
Of course he can. But Jason Terry's a trash talker. You can't be a trash talker and then get out of the way, right?
Yeah, you got to give him credit for at least trying.
No credit. Business decision on that one for me. I am so far out of the way. You're not blocking LeBron in that sense.
See, that's why he ran cross country, Bill.
Oh, yeah.
He'd be getting He'd be getting out of the way.
Mike, if someone could find me a poster that you were on, I will buy that and I will have you sign it if you got dunked on like Jason Terry.
I would take the poster. I wouldn't be embarrassed by the poster because the poster would show at least I tried to stop the man.
Oh, yeah. The man's looking over you as you're down on the ground, dazed and confused.
Yeah, you won that one. I can't say anything. You won, but I at least tried to be competitive about it. I would be able to look myself in the mirror, right?
I could look myself in the mirror, too, and I wouldn't have to look at LeBron, who's staring down at me after dunking on me.
Running 10 miles and get a tongue depressor.
I'm enjoying that it's you two going at it.
All right.
I'm just sitting here enjoying this.
Moving on.
What do you got here?
Something that will unite Mike and I.
No.
Mad Dog. And this is great because we just talked about LeBron, and I know Mad Dog's had takes on the LeBron-Bronny situation, and it's fitting because Mad Dog is upset that his son, Colin, who hosts a show down for ESPN West Palm, was at Mets spring training for his show the other day, put in a note to try and get anyone from the Mets organization to come on while he's broadcasting live from their spring training complex. He didn't get anybody. This is the first or the second minute of an 18-minute rant that Mad Dog went on about the Mets not giving his son someone to interview.
That's a fair text message. A young kid, he's on 4 to 6. You got a show there in the ballpark promoting the Mets and freaking baseball. And here's the response from the Mets. Hey, Colin, understand the ask, but we can't make that happen. Their schedules are full for the rest of the day. Go to hell. Your schedules are full for the rest of your day. You're talking to me who has been at spring training sites for 50 years. Don't give me any nonsense that you can't figure out a way to get Paul Blackburn or, some guy out of the backup infielder. Nobody's asking for Alonso Lindor Soto. We get it. Nobody's asking for Sean Manaea or Jeff McNeil who's hurt. We get it. And I understand there might be a language issue. But you mean to tell me that the New York Mets, and again, I could care less. It doesn't affect my show. But you, man, I sound like LeBron, but I got to say this because it drives me crazy. And to be fair, they went to do the Nationals the other day, and they gave him Rizzo, the freaking president of the team.
That went on for 16 more minutes.
My son Colin Russo and Dad trying to do a show with the New York Mets. They cover the team. And all of a sudden you can't get him a backup infielder? 50 years I've been going down to do the Mets. Are they punishing me? What kid? Trying to make something in the business.
But he could not care less, he said.
I couldn't care less.
He could care less, which is worse.
Which is worse. He used the wrong
I could
term.
care less about me because I've been doing it 50 years. But my kid, he's trying to make himself something. The Mets. Maybe you should go to Cincinnati. They give him POs.
Dude, his Mad Dog is so good.
Makes me laugh every time. I saw it yesterday. I was like, I need this. I forgot to put it in the original copy of the show sheet. I remember this morning.
What are you kidding me?
But he could care less.
All righty. Let's take a break.
Good job, Bray.
Jamie Heath is not Kirk Presley. It's going to be Jamie Heath. Come from Vegas Mistakes.
Oh, we got a little change up.
We got line change. So he's coming up at 12:30, right?
12:30.
12:30. And so your calls are also going to be next. You want to chime in 610-632-0975. We got a call on the line. We do have a call on the line, right? No? I thought we had one before
We did have one at one point.
Someone from Sharon Hill?
Yeah.
Or did we already talk to that person?
We talked to Keith a while ago.
From Sharon Hill. We had somebody else on the line.
We did have Mark. Mark dropped.
Mark dropped.
Do we have text messages on my master's question?
We do have plenty of text on your
I want to hear about that.
We'll get to the text board. We'll get to our calls. You can climb in right now. It'll be a good time. 610-632-0975. The NCAA tournament game is starting in about 6 minutes, and we'll give you the updates on all these games that cross our screen. The Mike Missanelli Show continues with Christopher Russo on The Fan. Mikey?
We want to hear from you. So text.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. You say Calipari, I say Calipari. Doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. It's tomato or tomato. Or
It's
potato or potato.
Calamari or calamad? Maybe we call him calipad.
Calamad. 610-622-0975. Bill Colarulo said that if you gave him his starting point on every master
Not
hole,
me. Not me.
No, stop it. It started out with you thinking you would do it. And then you go, well, I'm not saying I could do it. The original thing was you could do it. So you start on the green, it's furthest point away from the hole.
Yes.
And
At
you're
Augusta.
saying you could win the Masters if that was your starting point. 4 rounds, you could win the Masters, assuming you would 3-putt par 4s and 4-putt par 5s to accumulate all your birdies.
Correct. So, look, yeah, if you 4-putted everything, you're finishing even. But if you could, at most, 4-putt, and then every once in a while, 3-putt, especially if it's a par 5, yeah, I think you would finish with a chance to win. I mean, last year, Scheffler won it all at 11 under. You're talking 4 rounds of golf. There's 4 par 5s, 4 par 3s. I think you could do it. I think you don't have to be a pro. You have to be a good golfer, but you don't have to be a pro to have a shot if you started on the green.
I need a pro. I know there's a lot of golfer pros who are listening to us right now in the pro shop. I need a pro to call up and say how ridiculous you are.
I don't think they would.
I really do. All right, let's go to the text board. Let's hear what people are saying on the text board, Ray.
Yeah, if you're looking for people that are thinking along our line of thinking, it's not what you're going to get off the jump here. We got Chuck from Lansdale. Could absolutely win the Masters starting on the green. 3-putt every hole is minus 18. Plenty of room for throwing in 4-putt and still win. 7 handicap. Chuck from Lansdale.
All right. Single-digit cap saying he would do it.
Ooh, now this is a good one. Chris from Lancaster. Closest Bill will ever get to this challenge is the putt-putt at Disney World. They have a par 72 putt-putt course, and it's really hard to get close to par, and I played competitive golf for a few years when I tried the course.
All right. That doesn't answer my question, though.
You're thinking that every green that you've ever played on is like the Masters greens.
No, I
You
know
are
how
making
fast
the
they are.
mistake. It's not only fast. You can roll off the green on putts. You're not factoring that in.
The closest course that I have played to what the greens are probably at the Masters would have been Pinehurst number 2. And that's very similar greens where, yes, you could roll off, and they are extremely
do you
difficult.
think they had the stimp meter for everyday play the same as the Masters?
No.
At Pinehurst number 2?
I agree. But what I'm saying is I don't think you can assume that you're going to 4-putt every hole. As difficult as the greens are, you're going to get a couple 2-putts. You're going to get a couple 2-putts.
Miss 2-footers there. You think that I'll get it close to the hole. The 2-footers you're going to miss. Pros miss those 2-footers at the Masters. I tell you what, you are an optimistic young gent. I'll give you that.
All right. I reached out to another single-digit cap on this. And the response I got, this person's a 4 index. 100% I would blow out the field if I started on the green. It wouldn't even be close. Worst case scenario, I'm 4-putting every par 5. That's birdies. Most likely 3-putting with the potential of a few 2-putts.
The worst case scenario is not that you're going to 4-putt a par 5. The worst case scenario is that sometimes you're going to get 6-jacket. It's the Masters greens.
I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit.
All right. Let's go to the phones. We got Mark in Portland checking in with us. Mark, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, guys.
Mark, how are you?
By the way, I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Actually, I lived in Glen Mills 2013 to 2018 and became a huge 97.5 fan and a huge Philly sports fan. So I appreciate that, and I've stuck with you guys now in Portland, man.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that, Mark.
Bill's 100% right. So you guys got to stop thinking about the par 3, 4s, and 5s. I've done the math on this, and I'm a bad 5 handicap. So you would have 3 5-putts you would have 6 4-putts, you would have 8 3-putts, and you'd have 1 2-putt, and you shoot 65, and you win running away.
And you would shoot
Mike,
65 for 4 straight outings, by the way. 4.
Absolutely.
This is 4.
I think you get,
really? So you're going 65, 65, 65, 65, which means you would finish what? What would that be, 20 under?
That's why he said you would win running
yeah.
away.
21 under.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark, come on now. Come on.
Mike, here's the difference.
What?
If you're trying to play for a 4-putt instead of trying to make it, the difference in the argument is you would run a putt off the green, or you'd run it 4 or 5 feet by if you're trying to make it.
Okay, so you want to inch your way towards the hole.
Absolutely.
Okay, so your first putt of 60 feet, how hard are you hitting that?
I'm going to leave myself 20 feet.
You're going to leave yourself 20 feet, and then you got 3 putts to make that 20 feet.
And then I'm going to be a little more aggressive, and I'm going to probably maybe run it 5 feet by.
And when you run it 5 feet by, you're not maybe it's downhill now. So not only is there a variation on the putt, now it's lightning fast going downhill instead of uphill.
Yes.
See, these are the factors you got to put in. You can't just it's not a level playing field.
I'm factoring them in. B, you're going to get progressively better, right? Because you're going to get 72 cracks at these greens.
Correct.
So after round 1,
you're going to learn the speed.
I have seen pros not get progressively better during the course of a round. They get worse. Their putter abandons them.
You're Mike. What's you're a 12 or a 14?
I'm a 15
index.
15.
You think you're going to have more than 4 or 5 putts?
I on these greens.
Think about that.
You just explained you're going to go 20 feet short. Now you think that 20 feet, the rest of that 20 feet is negotiable very easily?
I might roll in a few couple of those 20 footers.
You're a confident guy. I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit, Mark. I'll give you credit.
I think Mark's right though. You're going to sink some big putts too.
You're not sinking anything.
You're going to get a couple of albatrosses mixed in on those par 5.
Mark, I'm going to give you an NCAA tournament game to ride for the rest of the time. All right. Number 2 seed for you, Mark. Michigan State and Tom Izzo. He's gone?
Oh, he's gone.
All right. Mark in Portland gets Tom Izzo.
Mark from Portland really analyzed that question. Now, we have some people like Michael Ponzio on YouTube who said, I'd rather talk about the Eagles' new long snap.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers crushed by the Thunder. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. 76ers lost 133-100 the Thunder last night, dropping them to 23-46 on the season. That makes them tied for the 5th worst record in the NBA. Next 6 games going to be big to see whether or not the Sixers keep that top 6 pick. It is top 6 protected, of course, that first round pick for them. Now those next 6 games going to be against 6 teams with a 141 and 264 combined record, starting with Friday's game against the San Antonio Spurs. Down in Clearwater, the Phillies have pushed back Ranger Suarez to start due to back tightness. If Suarez is to miss time, Taiwan Walker would be in line to be the 5th starter to open up the season. In other roster news for the Phils, Garrett Stubbs being sent down to AAA. Rafael Marchand will be the backup catcher for the Phillies going into the season. Tonight, the Flyers are in D.C. to play the Capitals. We'll have the live broadcast of the game with pregame coverage beginning at 6:30 right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And finally, in NFL news, Packers officially put in for a rule change to ban the tush push. We'll keep you updated with anything that happens with regards to that. This update is brought to you by Wendy's Breakfast. Freshen up your morning with Wendy's Breakfast like a breakfast baconator, ready for a fresh wake-up call. Gotta be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
After 15 years, 206 games, and 2 Super Bowl championships, Eagles defensive end Brandon Graham is
couple of minutes, we'll talk to our handicapper, Jamie Heath. And the organization is called VegasMistake.com. Now, the premise of their prognostications, they believe they set lines on the games where they believe the wrong team is favored. And also they identify plays where the point spreads or totals are significantly off. It's kind of what I do.
I was going to say, you love this.
Yeah, I kind of do this. So they have a promotion where they give you 5 games for $45. They give you their 5 best plays on Thursday and Friday where the wrong team is favored. And they promise that you'll go 4-1 or better.
It's pretty good.
So we'll talk to Jamie Heath coming up in just a few seconds. Meanwhile, the NCAA tournament has begun. I didn't get the early score on that first game, but we will catch up with those games. And there it is. Okay, we have the music.
Good job, Ray.
Ray is going to catch you up on. Ray, what do you got so far in game 1?
Looking at Creighton and Louisville right now. Creighton, a 1-point lead, less than 8 minutes into the game.
All right, Creighton, 1-point lead. Of course, with 7'1", Ryan Kalkbrenner, who's been there for at least 6 years at Creighton, trying to improve his stock. He's not going to.
What's Creighton's mascot?
The
Cardinals?
Blue Jays.
Blue Jays, that's right. I knew it was a bird.
Yeah, Blue Jays.
I knew it was
See a lot of blue Cardinals out there?
No. Good point, Ray.
The Louisville Cardinals.
You know
you got the right.
I got the right.
Team.
The wrong team.
Yeah.
You know, Blue Jays are extremely tough birds. Did you know that?
They're tough, meaning they fight.
Yeah.
Really?
Blue Jays are like a tough bird.
They fight for their food. They ward off every other bird for a worm. Is that what you're saying?
I believe so. Yeah, look, Blue Jays can be very aggressive to other birds. They sometimes raid nests and have even been found to have decapitated other birds. Extremely aggressive.
They raid the nests of what? Eggs?
Other birds'
They
nests.
steal the eggs?
They'll steal the eggs.
What do they do with the eggs? They eat them?
I don't know.
Or do they just want to cause mayhem?
I don't know. I think some people say it's one of the toughest local birds.
Some bird experts say that?
Some bird experts. Some people say Ray's a bird expert.
Is Ray a bird expert? Well,
what is a bird expert? What do you call them again?
Entomologist? No, what is that?
An
That's a bug.
ornithologist.
Ornithologist. The entomologist studies bugs, right?
What is it?
Entomologist?
Let me see. Bug expert.
Okay.
A bug expert.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Good call. Entomologist.
It's the entomologist?
Yeah.
All right, in any event, the NCAA tournament is on. You can make a lot of money with the right selection. So let's welcome our man from VegasMistake.com, Jamie Heath. Jamie, how you doing today?
Hi, man. How are you guys?
We're doing
great
good.
Here.
Thanks, Jamie. And listen, your premise is very interesting. You identify games where you believe the wrong team is favored or the point spreads are significantly off. So how do you determine that?
Well, how it works here with VegasMistake.com, okay? There's so many games. For instance, the next 2 days you're going to see 32 games. Now, Vegas cannot possibly get the spread right or the total right on all those games. So it is my job to identify these type of situations where Vegas is off, say either 2-3 points by the spread or 3-4 points to the total. And we capitalize on that information.
All right, so give me you don't have to give me your pick on this, but give me a game where you think the point spread's off.
Okay, well, what we're doing, first of all, I have a game that I'm going to give to your audience today for absolutely free. You know, we love this particular game. Again, Vegas is off on this game. We feel very strongly that Michigan, okay, they're a 2.5-point favorite against UC San Diego. Every wise guy is betting on UC San Diego like it's stealing, okay? We're on the opposite. We're on Michigan. Michigan plays in a much tougher conference, the Big Ten, okay? They were slighted. They're a 5 seed. They won their conference tournament. They should be no worse than a 3 seed. They got hosed. They're a 5 seed in the tournament, okay? I love tonight. We love Michigan laying the 2.5. But here's my unprecedented offer that I'm offering everyone out there, okay? We're giving out 5 picks that Vegas is absolutely off on VegasMistake.com. Go to VegasMistake.com or dial 866-441 2711. We have 5 plays, and here's the deal. If I don't go 4-1 or better, that's 80% or better, you get Saturday and Sunday absolutely free on me. Again, I got to go 4-1 or better. That's how strongly I feel about these games.
Well, that's a bold statement. All right, so you're telling me that Michigan should be favored by more than 2.5.
I feel that they should be favored by 7 or 8 points. They're playing a team out of the Big West Conference, okay? Granted, they finished, I think, their year off on a 15-game winning streak, okay? But they're in a very weak conference. The other night, 2 teams from their conference, I believe it was UC Riverside and Cal Northridge, they got absolutely destroyed by Stanford. Beat them like by one team. I think it was UC Riverside lost by 40. Now, I'm not saying that Michigan's going to win this game by 40, but don't be surprised, folks, if Michigan doesn't win this game by double digits. Michigan has too much size for UC San Diego with Golden and Wolf. They're 2 6'11", 7-footers. UC San Diego's biggest player, I think, is 6'6". They rely on the three-point shot. I know the game's being played in Denver, which has altitude, and everyone's like, oh, Michigan's going to get tired. Don't believe any of that. Take Michigan minus 2.5.
All right, so the people that are making the lines, they go through every dynamic possible to come up with a line. And you're saying that they can't possibly get everyone right, but you're looking at it at a different way. You're setting your own line in your head. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's so many different philosophies and ways to go about doing this. Obviously, like I say, Vegas, they pick up a lot. I mean, the game comes out, the Selection Sunday process comes out, and the odds makers immediately put out a line. Now, you'll see movement on certain games because certain teams obviously are played higher than others because of their name, their brand, whatever the case may be. For instance, the other day, North Carolina opened up as a 3-point favorite, immediately shot to 4.5, and they won the game by, 30, 40 points?
Yeah.
Everyone said North Carolina didn't deserve to be in the tournament. Well, guy, I got news for you. San Diego State didn't deserve to be in the tournament. The whole Mountain West is an overrated conference.
All right, that's sound logic. We're talking to Jamie Heath of VegasMistake.com. You can call this number. It's 866-441-2711. And he's got a performance promise where he's got 5 games for $45. Each client gets their 5 best plays for Thursday and Friday. Several where the wrong team is favored, and he promises you go 4-1 or better, or you get the rest of the weekend free. So can you give me, I know you gave me Michigan. Is there any other game you look at as an upset possibility in this first round that you really like?
I mean, there's a game also going on tonight between Drake and Missouri. 2 contrasting styles. Drake is an absolute slow-down type team. They hold the ball for the full 30 seconds. They're another team that relies pretty much on their defense, whereas Missouri loves to run up and down. You know, obviously, they're out of the SEC. The SEC, everyone loves the SEC. They think it's the greatest conference. Meanwhile, an SEC team went down last night. They were up by 13, and they ended up losing the game to Xavier. I'm talking about Texas. Mm-hmm. So tonight, another play I would strongly consider is Drake. Okay, I like Drake not only to cover the game but to win the game outright. Okay. Now again, when I'm giving out this promotion, 5 picks for $45, you visit the website VegasMistake.com or call 866-441-2711. I'm giving you a performance promise, something that is not done anywhere in this industry. Nobody in their right mind would do this. I have to go 4-1 or better, or you get the weekend absolutely free on me.
All right. Sounds good. Jamie, pleasure talking to you. VegasMistake.com and 866-441-2711. Good luck to you this weekend.
Thank you very much, and we'll talk again tomorrow.
All righty. Sounds good. There he is, Jamie Heath from VegasMistake.com. He likes Michigan. He thinks they're undervalued at only minus 2.5 versus UC San Diego, and all the sharp money is coming in on UC San Diego. In fact, I picked UC San Diego, and I look at it this way. The odds makers in Vegas, I believe, are the smartest people on earth. If they've got that line that slender, UC San Diego is no joke. Mike Missanelli Show continues after this.
Andrew Salciunas.
I don't like Kyle Schwarber batting leadoff, despite the success the team has had. I like stealing bases.
Rent a Ferrari.
Who is this?
He's leaving you. Lenderman. What is his name? R.J. Lenderman?
MJ.
MJ Lenderman.
Never heard of him.
Of course you never heard of him. I ask you a question.
He sounded like Neil Young a little bit.
A little more distinctive. Neil Young had that twangy. And 10 soldiers and Nixon coming. That's bad Neil Young. But what music do you listen to?
I'm all over the place. I have an eclectic taste.
Well,
in
like
music.
you're in a radio. Like what radio station? If you're playing music, what are you listening to? Spotify or Apple iTunes or radio station?
I only listen to the Beasley Media Cluster from Philadelphia.
That's not. When you're listening to music, what are you listening to? Are you listening to Ben FM? Are you listening to WMGK, WMMR? Like that's the Beasley Group, or are you listening to satellite?
Well, I tend to listen to satellite, but I don't want to admit that on the air.
Okay, well, if you're listening to satellite, listen. Cars are equipped with satellite these days. So
what I like to do is I stay around the year channels, like 90s, 2000s, 2010s, because you get the eclectic mix. Even 80s, 70s. Like I'll go those.
You're a low channel guy.
Yeah, like 7, 8, 9, 10.
You're a single digit serious guy.
I am. Every once in a while, the hits. Now you are Alt Nation or Lithium.
I'm Alt Nation, Sirius XMU, and Lithium.
Sirius XMU.
And sometimes the New Wave station.
Now, sometimes I also like to throw on, like if I'm working out, I'll throw on like Pandora, and I'll put on like Milky Chance Radio, which I know you like Milky Chance. Milky Chance Radio, Broken Bells Radio. I'll put them on because they'll play the eclectic
Broken
mix.
Bells Radio.
Or I'll say, Alexa, play 2000s hip hop, and then you get.
Do you download albums on Apple iTunes?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
That's the biggest bargain ever.
Downloading the album?
For $9 a month, you can download any album that is in existence.
Oh, on Apple Music?
And have it in your files. And I like to listen. Like the old days when you had a CD, you listened to the whole CD.
Yeah.
Like now it's all chopped up. You listen to songs.
Correct.
But I like to hear the body of work by a particular band that I like. So I'll download the albums. And then I'll bang the albums when I'm listening to music every now and then.
And the band took time putting the songs in a certain order for you.
Exactly.
So you like to listen to them in that order.
Correct.
No, but I would probably say that the genre of music that I would listen to the most would be like throwback hip hop.
Throwback hip hop.
Because I only listen to music. I listen to this station, no joke. I listen to sports talk pretty much all day long. But if I'm working out, I'll usually throw on 2000s hip hop. Like that's what I like to work out to. Ray, you a music guy or you listen to more sports talk?
I mean, I listen to a good amount of sports talk because it's the profession I'm in, but I listen to plenty of music. But I don't think I have that diversified of a taste when it comes to it.
There's a radio station that has the 2020 mysteries on it that I'll listen to every now and then. You can listen to on the radio.
2020 mysteries?
Like the OWN, WN, like the murder mysteries.
Oh yeah,
that you have on TV, that you watch the TV. You don't like those, Ray?
Not to relax. I don't find that relaxing. It's unsettling to me.
Why you didn't listen to my podcast?
But you said 2020.
I'd read the book.
Because there's a
2020 is the name of the show.
Oh, 2020. Okay.
2020.
I thought you meant
48 hours. Like all those murder mystery shows are on a radio station on satellite.
I got you. There's also one on satellite that I thought you were referring to, which is the old time radio mysteries, where it's like, and then she came into the library.
No, I don't.
And she found. That sounded a little bit like Mad Dog. But you know what I'm trying to.
I don't listen to that stuff. I listen to the ones that you see on TV that I watch a lot.
Gotcha.
The murder mysteries, where they reinvestigate, and the guy who narrates it is a guy who was in Seinfeld, Ray, as a news. He was like a legendary news guy, Keith Morrison, where he announced that Kramer was the main suspect in the murder in L.A. Right, but Keith Morrison's a real guy.
Yes, he is.
And he does those murder mysteries all the time.
He did Dateline, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Dateline, 2020, 48 Hours. They're all kind of the same thing.
One of the best SNL skits is Bill Hader doing his Keith Morrison going through a Dateline episode.
Yeah. Keith Morrison, he's legendary for these murder mysteries that he narrates. All right, anyway, there's a headline that's bugging me. And I got to bring it up. The Eagles have lost a lot of good players. Look on the bright side. They're not the Giants or the Cowboys. I hate approaches like that. Well, look, we're not the Giants or the Cowboys. Does that mean anything? Is that supposed to mean anything to me that they're not the Giants or the Cowboys? They're not the Giants or the Cowboys because the Giants and the Cowboys are dysfunctional organizations. I don't want to compare myself to and say I'm lucky because I'm not a dysfunctional organization. I know what kind of organization this is. It's a good organization. I want them to contend every year. I don't want to appreciate the fact that they're not lesser than. Doesn't that bug you?
I'm with you eye to eye on this. Like, I don't care if you're telling me the Eagles finished 14th in the NFC, but they were above the Giants and the Cowboys. That doesn't make me feel good.
I don't understand. I don't understand the rationale. Well, at least they're not the Giants or the Cowboys. Well, no, they're not the Giants or the Cowboys. They're way better than the Giants or the Cowboys. So why even bring the Giants and the Cowboys into the equation?
Yeah, the real question is,
are they good enough to win the whole thing?
Are they good enough to win the whole thing? And if you're going to compare them to teams in the NFC East, are they better than the Commanders? Now, I think that they still are, but the Commanders are the team that you're going to be battling with in the NFC East, not the Giants or the Cowboys.
Yes.
And mainly because the Commanders have a young, promising quarterback in Jaden Daniels, and that's what it's all about.
That is correct. So that's what I am afraid of when I look at the Eagles, and what I see is this drop-off. I see it for various factors. One of those factors being that the Redskins, the Commanders, are on the come. The Giants and Cowboys aren't even in my mindset, for crying out loud.
Yeah, and the Commanders made an interesting choice this offseason. Like, they went and paid some older players. They made trades for some older players. They're going all in now.
They're going all in for this year.
Yeah, they're trying to take advantage now.
And that's why I say maybe the Commanders win the division. And then maybe the Eagles have to climb a little more uphill than they did last year. That's all goes into the equation of this sports medium thing that I've got going on now.
Yeah, I don't like it.
All right.
I don't like it. Well, now let me ask you, because you just said that you think maybe the Commanders win the division, which history would tell us is what's going to happen because no repeat winner since 2004. So we're talking 21 years. Would you then be in favor, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, the proposal by the Detroit Lions to change the way the playoff teams are seeded?
I like it.
Because if the Eagles do, in fact, not win the NFC East, they still could do that and have a better record than some of the wild card teams, and maybe they get to host a playoff game at least, right?
I agree. I like that proposal. I also like the other proposal, which I know a lot of people in this town hate, but I like it. I think it makes it more fair across the board. We'll take a break. Now, on the other side, Bill, I want to go into the recesses of your brain because you can come up with 5. What iconic plays do you remember in addition to the Brandon Graham BG out play that he made with the strip sack? Can you come up with, is that one of the most iconic plays of all time? Is it the most iconic play of all time? I want to hear everybody's selections of iconic plays that they remember from the Eagles. There's got to be a couple punt returns in there as well. 610-632-0975. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers crushed by the Thunder. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that is built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. 76ers lost 133-100 to the Thunder last night, dropped them to 23-46 on the season. They're tied for the 5th worst record in the NBA right now. If they need to keep that top 6 protected pick, it's going to be the next 6 games that tell you a lot of the story for the 76ers. They're going against 6 teams with a combined 141 and 264 record, starting with Friday's game against the San Antonio Spurs. Down in Clearwater, the Phillies have pushed back Ranger Suarez's start due to back tightness. If Suarez is to miss time, Taiwan Walker would be in line to be the 5th starter to open up the season. In other roster news, Garrett Stubbs has been optioned to AAA. Rafael Marchand will be the backup catcher for this Phillies team. Tonight, the Flyers are in D.C. to play the Capitals. We'll have the live broadcast of the game right here on the Fanatic with pregame coverage beginning at 6:30 on the station. Finally, in NFL news, the Packers officially put in for a rule change to ban the tush push. We'll keep you updated with anything that happens with regards to that. This update's also brought to you by ExpressPros.com. expressprojobs.com. Make hiring easier with workforce experts. Let the people at Express Employment Professionals find you the right fit. Hiring is about people, not algorithms. Visit expresspros.com. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Sean Kincade.
The last 4 years draft.
97.5 The Fanatic. Well, Creighton is not having any problem at all with Louisville. In the first half, they're smashing them by 15 with 4 minutes left, Bill.
Hey, Louisville could go on a run in the second half. Well, you got to watch.
You know, Creighton, that C stands for Caucasian.
You only got to watch
5 white dudes on the floor.
Oh, you only have to watch the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, really?
That's it.
Well, you have to watch the last. What is this? The NBA? It's what people say about the NBA.
Even with the college basketball, like the tournament, the last 5 minutes.
You got to make Louisville's got to make a run before the first half here.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you turn it on with the last 5 minutes. Either it's a blowout or it's a close game. If it's a blowout, what do you want to watch?
Enjoy
anyway?
the product.
No, I will watch. I'm only kidding.
No, you just don't enjoy the product when it comes to college. It's like, it's interesting to me.
You don't know basketball.
Now, I have Creighton winning this game, so I'm hoping this continues. Did you take Louisville or Creighton?
I took Louisville. Yeah. That's not all. I'm not off to a good start.
But you have Auburn winning in the next round anyway, so you're not going to lose that many points.
Well, Creighton could beat Auburn. Who knows? The way Creighton's playing, they get a big man.
We got 2 points right there from Louisville. Comeback begins now.
Come on, Louisville.
You got Louisville or Creighton in your pool, right?
I'm talking about a comeback for Louisville. Who you think I got?
Say, you guys should listen to me. I've been telling you, the expert on college basketball in this room.
Basketball.
Let's go to the text. You guys
turn my mic off.
You got a microphone turned off.
I haven't done that in a while.
Silliness. We're going to go back to the text board in a second, but also in the 1 o'clock hour, which is upon us, and you're listening to WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Just a few minutes ago, I talked about the iconic plays. It's Brandon Graham retired, and he will own one of the most iconic plays ever. The strip sack of Tom Brady helped win that Super Bowl. And then you move forward and you go, okay, well, the Philly's got to be an iconic play, right? And then you go, well, how about Deshaun Jackson and Brian Westbrook's punt return? How about that? So, Bill, what do you have?
Yeah, so I don't think that there's going to be a play that tops BG's strip sack because of what it meant for this franchise. Because that was, even though the Philly special was a magical play and a play you'll never forget, you still didn't know after the Philly special if they were going to win the Super Bowl or not. They still trailed the Patriots in the fourth quarter of that Super Bowl. But it was Brandon Graham's strip sack where I think the entire city was like, oh, my God, they're going to win this game. That's why I think that is going to be the most iconic play. But here are some that I think could compete with it. You mentioned the Philly special. Did you mention the miracle at the Meadowlands?
I did not, but that goes way back. Herm Edwards.
Herm Edwards.
And, Joe Pisarcik and the fumble, and he scoops it and scores. I didn't mention that one.
Then you got the miracle at the new Meadowlands, which was the Deshaun Jackson punt return.
That's got to be definitely on it.
Right? That's got to be up there. Going way back, Chuck Bednarik's.
Oh, he got it right.
Did I say it right, Ray?
Bednarik.
He was close.
Chuck Bednarik's hit.
Oh, come on, dude.
I did it on purpose. On Frank Gifford, where he said this bleeping game is over.
What did you do a good Google search?
I have that picture on my wall in my basement.
You do?
Signed by Chuck.
Where he's standing over him?
Correct.
Over
and he
Frank
said
Gifford, knocked out?
This bleeping game is over.
Yeah.
That's an iconic play, especially for the old timers. But here's some others that I would put up there now, because there's a play that gives me goosebumps every time I see it now. And it's the dagger. Jalen Hurts' bomb to Devontae Smith. It's Super Bowl 59.
Pretty good.
And then I think you also have to include Cooper DeJean's pick 6.
Pretty good. How about Brian Westbrook punt return?
Another miracle at the Meadowlands. Mm-hmm. That kind of saved the season. And then there's one more. Our man Freddie Mitchell. 4th and 26.
26. But somebody had to deliver that ball.
That was Donovan.
Freddie Mitchell gets all the credit.
Number
Donovan
5.
Had to deliver it.
Number 5 will always love you.
That is correct.
And if we're not that this would beat BG's, but there's another iconic play that I always remember, and it was Brian Dawkins' hit on Algie Crumpler in the NFC Championship game against the Falcons. That set the tone. And after that, things were just different. I guess you could also say the same for the Patrick Robinson pick 6 against the Vikings in the NFC Championship game. There's a lot of plays, but I think the only ones that could rival BG's.
BG is the top.
The only ones that could rival BG's would be the dagger the Coop pick six, or the Philly special. Those would be the only ones that I could say maybe rival it.
Pretty good stuff. Ray, does anything pop into your head? Any modern day plays, Ray?
Modern day plays, I think we all kind of moved past that Saquon run in the snow in the postseason against the Rams because it's not a Super Bowl moment.
That was a big one. You're right,
good
Ray.
one.
Him smacking his head, running down the field was big. But I keep going back to the most iconic. I know we're all kind of in the feels of Brandon Graham retiring. If you have a statue out in front of your stadium with the play and people are getting it tattooed and the T-shirt industry's made millions off of it, like I feel like that's just kind of has to be it.
You want Philly?
I do.
That one?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
What? Oh, Doug. Yeah, Doug's
responds.
like,
hold on.
Yeah, Doug's like, you want Philly? Yeah.
That is a great
Well,
damn
I don't have
play.
to call the play now.
yeah.
But
I'm off the hook.
As magical as the Philly special was, and it was unbelievable, you have to agree with me, though, Ray, at that point in the game, you still didn't know whether or not they were going to win the Super Bowl. But when Brandon Graham strip sacks Tom Brady, at that moment, the entire city started to realize this is a real chance. They're getting the ball back, up 5.
Whoa. There's a real chance versus this is over.
Well, the only reason why I think a lot of people felt like it was over, but it wasn't. They were up 5. They go 3 and out. Jake Elliott has to come out and kick, I think, a 48-yard field goal, where if he misses that field goal, you're giving the ball back to Brady close to midfield, only down 5. They probably lose the game. But I think a lot of us took that, they're going to win.
I did not feel that way until the ball hit the ground on that last pass.
Yeah, it was hard to figure out they were going to win that game. It really was.
But every single person, I think, would agree. After that strip sack, you thought, oh, my God, this is going to happen.
Yeah. All right. By the way, take a couple housekeeping things here. The knockout tournament, that is your chance to shoot hoops on the Sixers court. Wednesday, March 26th, that's next Wednesday. You could be the one to win the whole thing, bragging rights, or you want to slay one of the Fanatic hosts like Bill Colarulo. That will be bragging rights for the rest of your life. Here's how to win. You can listen for a keyword during each show. Do we have today's keyword?
Should be right there.
I don't think I have today. Yeah, I do have today's keyword. In any event, I'm about to give you a keyword and you have to enter that on the contest page, 975thefanatic.com, by the end of the day. We're going to pick a winner from each show every day. You'll get 2 tickets for the game that night, and the winner will play Knockout. Your guests will watch from the stands. It's sponsored by Barlow Chevrolet and Delran for honest pricing and dedicated service. Again, it's 975thefanatic.com for complete details. So here is today's keyword. Clock. CLOCK. Clock is today's keyword. You have till the end of the day. Does that mean 12 midnight?
I believe so. I think it means 11:59.
All right, 11:59 to enter it on our website, the contest page on 975thefanatic.com. Again, the winner gets a spot in Knockout. Today's keyword is clock. Our 12 o'clock hour was brought to us by Service First HVAC, offering 0% financing for 48-month rebates and tax credits up to $4,300 when you purchase a heating and cooling system. You can learn more online at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. If you got some suggestions for your iconic plays, we'll put them out there at 610-632-0975, either by call or by text on the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson.
We can't be so down on a team
On the Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. We asked a couple of random pros this barroom question about if you could, would you be able to win the Masters or at least contend for the title if they allowed you to start on every green? Just drop your ball the furthest point away from the pin on every green. Could you actually win the Masters?
Farthest point away.
Farthest, that's what I said.
You said furthest.
Oh, farthest. What's right?
Farthest. Because you're talking about a distance.
What's furthest?
Furthest would be like when you're looking into something, or, I went further in. Well, I guess that doesn't work either. I was going to say further into the book. You could use both. We went further into the discussion about the most iconic play in franchise history, but you're farther from the pin. So I just wanted to correct you because you always correct me on my grammar.
Thank you.
Ray, Mr. SAT himself. Would it be farthest from the pin or furthest from the pin?
Farther is the literal, talking about actual distance. Further is talking about something more.
Okay, so it's
symbolic.
So it's farther. Bill was right, Ray? Is that what you're saying?
Bill was.
Say
correct.
it, Ray. Hit it. Hit my favorite drop.
While you're doing that, hit the hockey horn.
Bill, you were right all along.
Hit the hockey horn while you're at it for that. So Bill got one right. There you go.
Beach golf!
All right, so we asked a couple of random pros. Now, put out the answer your pro got.
All right, so this was our club champ. This is my buddy Ben. This is our club champ, and he's a plus. His index is a plus. He says, I don't know. There's going to be lots of 4 and 5 putts, even some 6 putts. Win the Masters, no shot. Make the cut, probably. And that's coming from a guy who's an extremely good golfer. So, I don't know.
Okay.
What's your pro say?
Well, he said, I would definitely compete. Putting is my thing, huh? Well, putting is his thing. But then I go, what would be your 4-round score? He says, who knows, 72 holes? Going to have a few 3 putts for sure, 2 putt the par 5s for birdie here and there. I would say I would be pleased with even par over 72 holes. That ain't winning the Masters.
No, it's not. You're going to have to be probably 2 or 3 under every round. Because Scheffler, even though he was 11 under last year, I mean, that was ridiculous. So if you could go 3 under, if you could go 2 under each round, you're 8 under on the tournament, you got a shot.
All right, let's get to the text board.
It'd be fun if we could actually make this happen. Can you pull some strings to get us on Augusta?
No, I will be on the premises, but I could send you back a pimento cheese sandwich. Would you like that? Would you like me to bring you back a pimento cheese sandwich?
Is that what they're known for then?
Oh, yeah. The pimento cheese sandwich? Never had one?
I did not.
They have the cheapest concession. You get a chicken sandwich for $3. Pimento cheese sandwich is like $2.
Now, as we're talking about food
Beers
at the Masters,
are $2.
As you're talking about food at the Masters, did you see they released Scotty Scheffler's Masters dinner menu? Did you see this?
I did not see that, but he made fun of his arrest in it.
Did he?
Yeah. Apparently, he made fun of the arrest that he had. He interjected that somehow into the menu. How did he do that?
I don't know. I'll read you the menu.
Okay,
you tell me.
What's the menu?
Appetizers, cheeseburger sliders, served Scotty style.
I don't know what that is, but rare. I don't know.
I don't know.
Scotty style. Go ahead.
Was that a play on the arrest?
No.
Firecracker shrimp with sweet Thai chili and sriracha mayo.
No, it has anything to do with the arrest.
Another appetizer, Papa Chef's meatball and ravioli bites with pecorino cheese and tomato basil sauce.
So this is another app?
Yeah, 3 appetizers.
Okay.
First course, Texas-style chili with cheddar cheese, jalapenos, and corn chips.
Chili?
That's a first course.
Okay.
Main course, wood fire, cowboy ribeye, or a blackened redfish, served family style with macaroni and cheese, jalapeno cream corn, soy-glazed Brussels sprouts, and chipotle lime roasted sweet potatoes.
That's not a bad entree, although the cream corn could leave a little something to be desired. I'm not a cream corn fan.
Now, dessert sounds
But he's
delicious.
from Texas, so I'm sure they do the cream corn. All right,
you can't go wrong with this dessert. A warm chocolate chip skillet cookie with vanilla bean ice cream.
Yeah, he's a Texas man. That sounds a lot of Texas.
And that is all served in honor of Mr. Scotty Scheffler.
Well, there you go.
Last year's Masters champ.
Pretty good menu.
So I think the making fun was actually of himself because he missed a few tournaments last year, apparently, when he stabbed his hand with a wine glass while making raviolis. And that's what the Papa Chef's ravioli is supposed to
all right, so he was being
poke fun at.
self-deprecating, not about the arrest, but about that.
He needed surgery after cutting his hand while making raviolis. Okay.
Yes.
On Christmas, he was making raviolis.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
What else do we have on the text board here, Ray?
We got some people chiming in on the iconic plays throughout Eagles history. The Algie Crumpler hit has come up a number of times on the text line. The Pat Robinson pick 6 also coming up. Sheldon Brown getting some love for the hit on Reggie Bush.
Now, see, let me eliminate that. They lost that game. So as iconic as it may have been that Sheldon Brown set the tone on the opening play, hitting Reggie Bush, they lost that game in New Orleans. So I don't think that should even be in contention. An iconic play has to be a part of a game where you at least win the damn game. 4th and 26, the Algie Crumpler hit, the miracle at the Meadowlands, the miracle at the New Meadowlands, all the plays in the Super Bowl. You can't have an iconic play where you lose the game, Ray.
I'm the guy that reads the text, man. You're lecturing the wrong guy.
Damn it, Ray!
I'm the messenger, man. You get upset with the message. All right? You're staring at me as you're delivering this little monologue on you lost the game. It's not my play.
Not his play.
Jake Elliott getting some love
Jake
for
Elliott.
the game winner against the Giants. How does this show feel about a kicker having the most iconic play?
That was a big play.
No chance that a kicker who performs his one job gets an iconic play.
That was a huge kick, though, for a rookie.
Come on, man.
Who they had just picked up a couple weeks
He's
earlier.
A kicker.
That was a big one.
He didn't get hit. He didn't have to avoid a rush. He didn't have to have a quarterback with the ball dangling that he could strip. Come on.
Why do you hate Jake Elliott?
I don't hate him. I don't hate Jake Elliott per se. I'm just saying you got to keep a kicker in perspective here. You can't give him an iconic play when people are putting their lives on the line, banging into each other.
It was a huge kick, but I need a ruling from you, Mike.
What?
Because I said that an iconic play cannot be in a game that the Eagles lose, and I'm getting killed on the YouTube chat saying that they disagree, that I don't know what iconic means. Iconic means symbolic, and that was an iconic hit, and it doesn't matter if they win the game. I still disagree with that.
No, I think you have to win the game. I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think you could say the Sheldon Brown hit was iconic when they lost.
Talk to the people before we get out of here. Coming down the home stretch, 610-632-0975. It is halftime at the Creighton-Louisville game, and Creighton in command. Yeah, my man Jay Wright on that panel today, or did you get the day off?
I saw him.
Like he got the day off.
No, I changed the channel. He was on the
really?
True TV one.
Oh,
this is CBS.
Charles is doing this one. They got Chuck on the panel.
They do
right now. How about that? But Jay getting a lot of playoff time. Mike Missanelli Show continues on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers crushed by the Thunder. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. 76ers lost 133-100 to the Thunder last night, dropped them to 23-46 on the season, keep them tied for the 5th worst record in the NBA. The next 6 games going to be big if the 76ers are to keep that top 6 protected pick. They're going against 6 teams with a combined 141 and 264 record, starting with Friday's game against the San Antonio Spurs. Down in Clearwater, the Phillies push back Ranger Suarez to start due to back tightness. If Suarez is to miss time, Taiwan Walker would be in line to be the 5th starter to open up the season. In Ross moves today, Garrett Stubbs was sent to AAA. Rafael Marchand will be the backup catcher for the Phillies to open the season. Tonight, the Flyers are in D.C. to play the Capitals. We'll have the live broadcast of the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic, with pregame coverage beginning at 6:30 on the station. Finally, in NFL news, the Packers officially put in for a rule change to ban the tush push. We'll keep you updated if anything happens with that. This update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Vacation?
Hi, Mike Missanelli Show. I have a lawyer question for you coming up in a couple seconds, but wanted to comment on this Garrett Stubbs thing. Now, they made the right choice. Rafael Marchand has more versatility than Garrett Stubbs, but don't you think they did Garrett Stubbs dirty, dragging him out this long when they could have made a decision on him? They could have maybe moved him. They could have released him and did him a favor, or maybe even told him during the offseason. Do you want your release so you can hook on as a backup catcher with another team, another major league team, or do you want to go to the minors because that's what we have ticketed for you? He wasn't going to win the job. They knew what they were going to do from the jump. Did they use him up?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he did know, because they're doing this because he has an option left and Marchand doesn't. And with Marchand's injury history, because he hasn't really been able to stay healthy, and we know Real Muto missed some time last year.
So he would be content to be in the minor leagues?
He may be.
And the only way he would get up is if Marchand gets injured? Like, that's what you have to hope for?
I mean,
well, wouldn't it be better if you said, hey, listen, I read the tea leaves here. Release me and so I can hook on with another team. No?
Well, let me ask you. Mm-hmm. Seeing what you saw from Garrett Stubbs over the last couple of seasons, do you think another team would want him as their backup catcher?
You know, backup catchers all stink around the league. So, yeah, I'll bet you he could have got another job as a backup catcher.
I think the fact that he has an option left, though, because what you didn't want to do with Marchand's injury history, if he went down, then what are you doing?
Well, so you're using him, basically. That's
of course.
That's what I'm saying.
He's under contract.
The guy was kind of like a mascot for you. You know, he was the loyal soldier, and you used him up. And you know, it's funny about catchers in spring training. They keep as many catchers as they can because you need catchers to catch pitchers. You have a plethora of pitchers in camp, right? Like when I played in college, we used up catchers all day. They were 5 extra catchers. We had a starter and a backup, and then they kept 5 extra guys and promised them that they would dress, but they never dressed. They would just be around to warm up pitchers and stuff. That's not right.
Well, I think this one's fine. And I'm looking here. So Real Muto last year missed 6 weeks with the knee injury.
Mm-hmm.
Marchand's never played more than 70 games. Well, he did it once. In 2019, he played 70 games in Single A. So
you're saying they're going to need to call him up somewhere along the line.
I think so, and you need that safety net.
So after all these years, you're going to go back to AAA and schlep it and hope that they call you up? Is that what you want? Or would you rather play with a lesser team and maybe get some playing time as a backup catcher?
I don't, honestly, I mean, this may sound callous. I don't care what Garrett Stubbs does. I don't. I'm going to do what's best for the team.
No, I'm just saying it's not Garrett Stubbs, all right? You're going to do what's best for the team. I get it. But somewhere along the line, you do a guy a solid, no?
I think they already did him a solid.
By keeping him on the roster?
Yes. He shouldn't have been here last year, especially when Real Muto went out and Marchand came up. I think it was clear that Rafael Marchand was the better catcher. But it made sense from the clubhouse and the culture and the fact that Marchand, you want to get him more days down in AAA.
You don't think that he thought that maybe he had a chance to make this team ahead of Marchand because of his other value, being a good clubhouse guy and all that stuff, and they dropped him on his head just now? Like, you don't think?
Well, I don't know if they did.
That's what I'm saying. Like, be straight with the guy and say, all right, listen, you're not going to make the team. Are you okay with being a AAA guy? And if he said, yeah, then you clear the barriers. If not, now you know what? How about if you release me so I can maybe hook on with somebody?
Nah, I think you needed the insurance policy.
All right.
Ray, you with me on this? Would you have released Garrett Stubbs and let him sign somewhere else?
No, I wouldn't have released him.
Wow, you guys are very protective of Stubbsy.
I think you're getting too soft.
No,
too nice these days.
Getting too soft.
Too nice.
He doesn't matter to me one bit, so I couldn't care less if he gets called up. I'm saying for the guy himself, if I'm the guy, if I'm him, would I want to do that? Would I want to go down to AAA? Or would I want to try to hook on with another team where I can get a major league pension and get more days in for my pension by being a backup somewhere else that's not a contender? He would be on a team as a backup catcher that's not a contender.
You have not seen the last of Garrett Stubbs, unfortunately. Because I just don't think Real Muto and Marchand are going to last all season.
I think you could do better than Garrett Stubbs anyway, so why would you have to preserve him? You know? Like, he's not that necessary that you have to bring him up. He can't be a starting player anyway.
But he's
if
under
somebody
contract.
Gets hurt.
He's under contract, and he has an
Well, that's
option.
the other thing. If he's under contract and they send him to the minor leagues, does his money drop?
Ray, do you know how contracts work?
Way too deep into the weeds, money-wise, for me.
See that contract. I don't know if they would pay him his major league salary.
It's got to be prorated to minor league pay.
It's probably got to be a minor league scale at that point.
Well,
which means he loses money.
Well, right now he's
Scott Kingery got paid.
He's making $925,000 is his 1 year salary.
Is there a AAA max?
It just says
I don't know.
that it's guaranteed $925,000.
All right, well then
I don't think it's going to drop. I think he's going to get that.
It's guaranteed going to playing to Lehigh Valley.
If you're going to pay me $900,000, you could send me to Lehigh Valley.
Right.
Yeah, I mean seriously. To play baseball?
Do most things, honestly.
You're not accumulating days for your baseball pension. That's a big thing.
Well, he's already got. How many years you need for your pension? In NFL, I think you need 3,
it's
right?
More days than it's based on how many days you're in the major leagues.
He's going to end up having a second career as a DJ anyways. He's fine. He's good.
DJ? He's going to make 900-some-thousand as a DJ?
DJ vibes, man.
Really?
Garrett Stubbs coming to a club near you.
All right.
Stubbs at the club. Come on. Club Stubbs.
So I'm looking here. So to qualify for a Major League Baseball pension, after hitting 43 days of service, which is the 2.5% of the max, every additional 43 days will accrue another 2.5%.
There you go.
And so on.
He's not going to accrue.
Until a player hits 10 years. Well, I mean, you figure he's had 3 years on an active roster. So that's been pretty damn good.
3's not a lot.
It's better than nothing.
I'm saying he's...
If I'm Stubbs
it's not
going...
really that important of a topic, but I'm just musing here.
If I'm Stubbs going down there, though, like Marshawn, as you've laid out a couple times here, is injury prone. Yesterday, I watched 4 innings, the last 4 innings of that spring training game. In a matter of time, Marshawn is like a magnet for things happening to him.
Yeah.
Got smacked in the back of the head with a baseball bat and got hit by a pitch within like 1 inning. He's had some bad luck.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's just the unluckiest guy in the world or if he's just injury prone to that. Him and 34-year-old JT Realmuto, or however he is at this point, I think it's 34. If you're Stubbs, you're sitting there like, yeah, I'll probably get my 43 days in.
Well, Stubbs is, if he's happy with the motion, I wouldn't want. I just spent some time on a contending team for 3 straight years. Now I'm back schlepping. Like that would really get me.
Well, is your alternative going to be the Marlins' backup catcher?
Yeah, would you rather have?
Yeah, I'd rather be in the major leagues. Yes, I don't care about with the Marlins. The major leagues is the major leagues. You're not bus tripping. You're still getting your bags carried. You're playing with white baseballs. Come on, it's a difference.
Well, you just used the contending team phrase, so that doesn't really matter to you then. It's only about being in the majors.
Being in the majors is the key element for every baseball player. But you think they're going to complain? A guy like that is going to complain he's with a lousy team? He's going to play. He's going to get first-class accommodations. He's staying in the nicest hotels. That's much better than being in AAA.
And if he's confident in himself, he'll believe he'll work his way back up to the bigs.
He will?
Probably not.
I don't know.
Probably not until injury happens. I don't think these 2 catchers are going to be the 2 catchers for the all 162.
I don't think
you might be right. They may have to make a deal for a catcher. All right, what is the text board saying as we head towards a break and come down the home stretch of this program?
We got Saquon Hurdle coming up in terms of the iconic plays for our conversation that we had.
Saquon's Hurdle. It's never been done before. We've never even seen it done before. That's got to be iconic, no?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it really became almost like the logo of this season, too. Which was a pretty magical season.
Definitely on the list. That would be a top 10 because it was such an amazing athletic feat. You're never going to probably see it ever again in the NFL.
Anything else that we haven't mentioned yet, Ray, on the
We got people that keep bringing up the Iverson step over.
Yeah. We're talking football, but certainly that might be the most iconic play in history.
Now,
in Philadelphia sports history, no?
Yes.
Or how about the Doc rock the cradle dunk to finish off the L.A. Lakers?
We got that.
See it a million times.
The Bobby Clark falling forward. You know which one I'm talking about? That's an iconic one. Where he's like falling in front of the net after the goal.
That's Gary Dornhofer.
Oh, that wasn't Clarky?
No.
I guess it wasn't iconic then. I don't have the right player.
They had that statue in front of the Spectrum.
That's not Clarky?
No, that's Gary Dornhofer.
So
against the Minnesota North Stars. See, Mr. Hockey comes up with that, right? Mr. Hockey.
You know what?
It's not Bobby Clark.
I think you're correct.
Oh, of course I'm correct. He's got to check my work again.
While he checks your work, people are getting upset that Bill said something can't be iconic when you lose. And you said lose the game. People are saying that you're taking away from Iverson's step over being iconic.
No, they won that game.
And that's what I'm trying to understand. If people saying that just because they lost the series, it can't be iconic? Because I don't think anyone said that here.
The reason that the Allen Iverson step over is iconic is because they won that game. If they lost that game, there's no way that step over is as iconic as it is today. We would not be remembering that step over if they ended up losing to the Lakers in that first game.
I think you're absolutely right about that.
You have to have won the game for a play to be iconic, in my opinion.
I totally agree. Now, they lost the series. Didn't matter. That play, that win was still iconic. Did you find out it was Gary Dornhofer? You check my work now? Like I'm an idiot?
I'm not going to look it up.
Oh, you're not going to look it up?
The people in the YouTube chat are saying there is a similar Bobby Clark picture.
Where is that?
I'm going to find it. But hold on, before you
the
hit
goal where he's tripping in front of the net, raising his hands, is Gary Dornhofer against the Minnesota North Stars. That was one of the early ascensions of the Flyers where they became a contender.
All right, I'll look that up at the break. But our big question, our golf question, about if you started the Masters on the green at the farthest possible spot, could you win? Joe Corcoran on Twitter tagged me in a video where a guy, Lou Stagner, a golf stat pro, does a detailed deep dive analysis where he measures the longest putts, the shortest putts from last year's Masters. And he's saying that doing all the math and factoring in the adjustments and all that, a 12 index would finish the Masters tournament at 36 under par. That it is 100% doable and likely that you would win the Masters starting on the green. And this is a detailed statistical analysis.
First of all, that's horse crap. But I think the guy that sent that to you is a guy that I play with every now and then at my golf course.
He lives in Conshohocken.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I think is this a picture?
Yeah, that's Joe.
He's got a picture of Marion as his cover pick.
Yeah.
That would be a violation for a White Marsh member.
It would be. You sure that's not White Marsh?
No, that's Marion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is a violation.
Right? Yeah, that's Marion with the green awning.
I have to tell his father about that.
Yeah, you got to let him know. Joe, if you're listening, violation to have Marion as your
610-632-0975 is how you come in. We're coming down the home stretch. You want to squeeze in a phone call? We got it for you. We got it open. We can give you an NCAA tournament game. This is we'll carry it through tomorrow as well, but you still can get a number one seed and get that restaurant gift card if your team rides all the way to the Final Four in the men's NCAA tournament. It's right now 61-46. Creighton burying Louisville with 13 minutes left. We're back after this.
Thursday, March 20th. The NFL is considering changing. Eagles propose they change to mimic the playoff rules. The Sixers lost to the Thunder 133-1.
put my root down.
Beasties. Mike Missanelli Show. We're coming down the home stretch. Opening day with Philly Sports Trips. Opening day is just a few days away, folks, and we've got your shot to win your way into a road trip for opening day in Washington, D.C. with Philly Sports Trips. The trip includes a top-notch tailgate, bus transportation, tickets in the 100 level with hundreds of fellow Philly fans for the March 27th game in D.C., and you can enter for a chance to win on the contest page at 975thefanatic.com. It's from Philly Sports Trips. Book your trip today at phillysportstrips.com. And congratulations to Philly Sports Trips for taking advantage of buying a lot of tickets in the 100 level, which should be snapped up by a real baseball franchise.
Who's that? Something about the Phillies being the real franchise over the Nationals?
Do you think that the Washington Nationals Sports Trips would be able to buy hundreds of tickets in the 100 level for a Phillies game?
No, you would hope not. You would hope not. That'll be a fun day. By the way, I got to tell us who was the knockout winner from yesterday.
Okay.
Well, let me pull it back up. So yesterday's knockout winner was Paul Delphing from Turnersville, New Jersey. We've been getting a lot of Jersey peeps, man. That makes Mike upset. Mike's not a Jersey.
No, it's your stomping grounds. I respect the people from Jersey. It's just it's a country. It's a different country.
It's a different country.
It is. It's a different country. South Jersey, it's its own entity. You know, it's not, I don't know. It's hard to describe it.
Well, when the weather gets nice, you're venturing over to South Jersey.
No, I don't think so.
Because we're going to play. We got to play around, man. I got to show you the club.
I don't think I'm venturing over.
You're coming. Like, I have nothing against Jersey. He won't even come over the bridge to golf.
I get confused in Jersey. I always like the highways confuse me. I go,
take an Uber.
It's too highway-esque for me.
At least they got rid of all the circles we used to have.
I know, but it's still highway-esque. It's like sterile.
You know what bothers a lot of people about Jersey that aren't from Jersey? Is that a lot of highways you can't turn left.
Yeah, it's weird.
That makes people upset.
It's very weird. You got to take a jug handle. You got to come around. It's like, come on.
No.
Too many 3-lane highways.
Yeah, look, our buddy Kevin on the YouTube chat, who's a big golfer, was telling you it's definitely worth coming over for my course. It's a good course to play.
Okay. Maybe.
We'll see. We'll put some money on it. Ray will caddy.
Are you playing with Ricky? Is Ricky coming over?
Yeah, we'll get Ricky to come,
Ricky
too.
Ricky talks a good game, man.
Well, apparently Ricky hits bombs, is from what I'm told.
Just ask him.
He does talk a good game.
He talks a good game, man.
Here's what bothers me about Ricky Patalico, though. And I don't know if he's listening. He's off today.
Oh, he is?
He don't keep an index. So it's hard to trust a guy who doesn't have a true handicap.
See, that's a sandbagger.
Yeah, but how are you even sandbagging? You don't even have an index.
Then what would you estimate your handicap would be? What's he going to estimate?
Yeah, but give me a stroke a hole.
Yeah, no. He's a guy that I don't know. What could his handicap be? A 10?
I think he had told me that when he was golfing a lot, he was a single digit.
Well, the fact that he talks about his game so much, he's absolutely giving up strokes. Guys that talk a lot of the game, yeah, okay, all right, I'll take 6 aside.
You know, I'm saying he doesn't keep a cap because I couldn't find him on the gin.
He probably doesn't report his scores on the gin.
Yeah, that's a violation.
A total violation. All right, we got Chris from Ridley Park checking in. Chris, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Chris?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
I got some information for you on that goal that you were talking about, where the Gary Dornhofer is
Yeah, it was Gary Dornhofer, right?
It was against. Yeah, it was Dornhofer, and the goalie he's flying over top of is Cesar Maniago.
Cesar Maniago.
That was the Minnesota North Stars. Yep.
There you go.
Against the North Stars. It was a goal that clinched that playoff series.
There you go, Billy. You didn't have to check my work.
That's a great job by Mike Missanelli, the big hockey guy. Well,
Hockey, I'm Mr. Hockey.
He is Mr. Hockey.
Yep.
Him and Gordie Howe, that's what we call him.
And then after that, they went and they lost to the Montreal Canadiens, but then they went on to win the.
It was the first step on their journey upward.
Exactly.
Yes, that's why it was iconic.
It was the first
and that's why they made a statue
of it.
Overtime
goal. Yep.
There you go.
In fact, it's so iconic that as a season ticket holder, I got one of those in the mail. They put out what they give the season ticket holders was supposed to look like a miniature bronze statue of that goal, Dornhofer flying in the air. Of course, it was made of plastic, but they were all signed by Dornhofer.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they were a giveaway to season ticket holders. So apparently the Flyers thing was iconic.
There you go. And then Dornhofer, when they won the Cup, he was kind of like wasn't like one of their best players at that time.
No, he did the dirty work. He was always the guy in front of.
Yeah, he was a good player before they got really good.
He was screening them.
Yeah.
Doing the dirty work in the corners and stuff.
That's right. He was a mucker and grinder.
He was a great skater.
Yeah, the players you hate.
Yes,
he was a mucker and grinder, Dorney. No, I like Dorney. He scored a goal every now and then.
I'm going to ask an ignorant question right now.
What's that?
Is Dornhofer still alive?
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
he is alive.
I'm looking him up now. Wow, he's 82 years old. God bless
he
him.
still makes appearances. He and Bob Kelly make
his
this
knees
kind of
are very bad, and I'll tell you one thing. He was at the last Philly show signing, too.
Oh, there you go.
And that was only like 2 months ago.
Dorney.
There you go.
There you go.
Him and Gene Hart were great together.
Yes, they were. That's right. They were on the pair. They were on the broadcast. All right, I'm going to pick a team for you. I'm going to pick a team for you, Chris. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right, I have picked for you Michigan.
Okay.
A 5 seed.
Oh, look.
I mean, who knows? A lot of people like Michigan. Our last our handicapper loved them.
Yeah, he did. So you got a shot.
Got a shot.
Man.
All right, there you go.
What
There
a
you go.
violation.
Gary Dornhofer.
What a violation by me, not knowing that's Dornhofer, but Mikey Miss knowing it was him.
Yeah, see,
That may be the biggest surprise of the day.
I lay low with my hockey knowledge. I let people think I'm a dope when it comes to the sport, but I cut my teeth on the Flyers. I know about their history. Today's Flyer fan doesn't know about their history. He doesn't know.
Oh, you're going back to 75, dude.
No. That was the last time they won something, all right?
And that was this team we're talking about, the Bobby Clark, Gary Dornhofer. That was in the 70s.
Yeah, but they didn't win. That year, that statue with Dornhofer scoring a goal, they lost the next series.
Gotcha.
But it was a big step for them to actually win that series in overtime to beat Minnesota.
The reason I got confused, I'm going to give myself an excuse. I'm thinking the statue of Clark and Bernie Perrant holding the cup. That's those two.
With Clark with the gap tooth?
Yeah, that's why I was getting confused.
Yeah,
but
sure.
you're right.
You're sure.
You're right.
Yeah. No, Bobby Clark, he scored the goal where he's in midair.
I know, I was wrong.
I thought he was going to give us the excuse of, well, I was up late last night, the baby. I'm
Yeah,
tired.
baby. No, he had a baby story today. He told me.
Oh,
Go ahead, Bill. You had the baby.
It's a rough night yesterday.
You were.
Oh, it was.
He had the baby. He was holding the baby. Right. Look at this. He was holding the baby. He was cooking dinner. He was
doing math. I had all 3 kids.
His other kid. There you go.
I had all 3 kids.
Do you believe that?
My wife had a client down in the basement, so I had the baby sleeping in my left arm. I'm making dinner with my right arm. I'm trying to help my 10-year-old daughter with her math homework. I got my son asking me questions about a show. There was a lot going on. I was losing my patience last night, Ray.
Did he embellish that, Ray?
I actually have a picture.
Is it a violation to be cooking, holding the baby? First of all.
No.
That's not a violation?
I don't think so.
You got a baby in an arm. You got a hot pan over here.
Look, I got the baby in one arm. I got the other 2 kids.
Been involved in. What do I know about taking care of a baby? I barely take care of myself.
You got a baby cracked in the arm. Your right hand has got.
I'm taking stuff out of the oven.
Skillet. Come on.
Yeah,
It was
I
a
guess that
mess.
is a
Put the
problem.
baby down. We've been cooking something.
That is a problem,
It
actually.
was a rough night for me.
Oh, man.
It's a rough night for you. Well, this was a fun show, Bill. What was the highlight today of the show, you think? Was it the golf thing?
I think so. I think that's where we got the most engagement.
Was it me as the sports medium? Was it the iconic plays? Well, we had a lot of hits today. Which one was the most iconic? I think it was the sports medium.
You may be right. We had a lot of hits, but not as many as the Yankees had against Taiwan Walker yesterday. Oh.
I saw these dice clay. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse went, oh!
The Dice Man. He was funny back in the day.
Well, in any event, thanks for listening, everybody. We really appreciate it. We're going to one day we're going to get more than 5 calls stacked up. I say it's my dream day where we actually get 5 calls stacked up, and it says so on the screen. But until then, just thanks for coming on the chat, coming on the text board, and your phone calls are always appreciated. Have a great rest of the night, everybody. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Good night.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers crushed by the Thunder. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Delaware. Thursday, March 27th from 11 to 2 at the Springfield YMCA. Garrett Stubbs was optioned to AAA today. Rafael Marchand will serve as the backup catcher for the team.